Who's ready for some Hobbit cards? They're cute. They have lots of cute animals. They're small. They hang out with dwarves. And in this case, they steal treasures from dragons, and then dragons get shot. The Hobbit Magic set, it's coming out very, very soon, both in paper and in arena. And it's a small set. Not that many cards in it, but there are some extra cards that are Hobbit Commander that are not legal in Standard, and some of them are going to be in arena. These cards include some scenes, which this is going to be in arena, and this is going to be in arena. There's also the box toppers. These are the ones that you buy a box, you get one of these cards. They're all reprints, and these cards, according to the Magic website, are only going to be available in arena as styles for existing cards. So if there's a card that didn't exist already in arena, like Relic of Sauron, I don't think we're getting this card. Then again, the arena website has been wrong before. And outside of the box toppers, by the way, the box toppers have some absolute bangers in them. These are not draftable cards. There are also the 5 Armies kit. These cards are going to be in collector boosters, not in any drafts, not available as box toppers, and they are not, at this moment, coming to arena, according to their website, but their website could be wrong. So if you're wondering, hey, what could I open in a box? The answer is the cards from the main set, a box topper, and if you're opening up a collector booster, my guess is they have even more goodies for you like these. But I don't really care about those because I care about drafting. And when it comes to drafting, oh, we have so many cards we get to look at. So we're going to look at The Hobbit. The Hobbit's a children's book. So a lot of this set is kind of nice and cute and sweet. And it's got a hobbit surrounded by dwarves, and they go on an adventure, and there's a dragon there. And so I don't think this is going to be like a deep, dark, scary set with super high power level. I think it's going to be like a core set. It's going to be kind of friendly, but we're going to take a look at the cards and find out for ourselves. And we start with Belladonna Took. Well, I can tell she is a hobbit, and I can tell she's from the Took family. Belladonna Took is a 2-mana rare. She's a 2/2, and whenever a token you control enters, you gain a life if it's the first time it's resolved this turn, and if it's the second time you draw a card, and if it's the third time, you get a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, nothing. This card seems like it's not bad and limited if there's a lot of repeated token generation, which we do know about. One of the mechanics, Recruit, does make tokens. We'll see it pretty soon. But I think this is much more of a card for commander decks than anywhere else. Mono white gets to have a little life gain, a little card draw, and a little bit of buffs, and all of these seem really nice. I also think that in a potential kind of janky standard brew, this could be pretty good. This card would play nicely with things like the 5-mana Elspeth that spits out tokens. You go wide, you buff the tokens. The more you're making, the better this card gets. But as far as limited goes, it's a bear with an upside. And yes, the upside's good, but only if you're making like 3 tokens a turn. Or even 2. But 1 is very little. Bilbo's Gambit. Bilbo's showing the Urkenstone Nabard. Is that what's happening here? It has been a long time since I read The Hobbit. I didn't read The Hobbit. I had The Hobbit read to me when I was a little kid. Again, children's book. It's a fun children's book. It's a very long children's book. It's like a big adventure. Bilbo's Gambit is a 2-mana instant that gifts a treasure. Oh! We have gifting in this. So gifting is where you say when you're casting the card if you are gifting or not gifting. If you do gift the thing that's on the card, then when it resolved, the gifts happen. It doesn't happen unless the spell resolves, though. So if you give your opponent a treasure, you get an additional ability. So it's return target spell to its owner's hand. Oh, nice. This bounces something on the stack. If the gift was promised, players can't cast spells this turn. This feels like it is... It's not quite a reprieve or a remand for limited. But that silence effect means that this card is a commander banger. Bilbo's Gambit is going to see play. Because it's like, I made you cast a thing, and now get this out of here. It's not quite a time stop, but honestly, for anything other than like combat, this is a time stop. I would put this into a bunch of different decks just to be a little saxy. Bilbo's Gambit in limited, though, I think it's just okay. This is one of those cards where, yes, you can mess up your opponent and you can get a win with it, but it's not the kind of thing that I would be like, slam this down, build around it. It's just like a card in the 99. Yeah, it's like halfway between a silence and a reprieve, which is cool. The politics of this card, oh yeah, in multiplayer, because it's players can't cast spells this turn. It is not just you. So you could even use this to like protect a combo that's already on the stack. Kind of weird. You just wouldn't be able to cast anything else after. Bofer, Reliable Guardian. Oh my god, with the ponies. This is our first of the dwarves. There's a lot of dwarves in this set. If you're not familiar with the Hobbit, there is in fact a Hobbit and a lot of dwarves. 1 mana, 1/1 with lifelink. Well, by golly, you know where this is going? Eris. It's going in the Eris deck. Also has Concerted Care. Target artifact or creature you control gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Well, that's nice. It's a 2 mana protective instant as an adventure, meaning you could use this to protect something. It goes on an adventure, and then you cast the creature later. I think that if you're running a dwarf deck, this is also nice. And I would say that as an uncommon, this is a flexible uncommon. You will often want to protect your cards in combat or from removal spells. And then you get a little lifelinker, which, not bad. The pony is stealing his carrots. Oh my god, the pony is stealing his carrots. No, actually the pony is reaching for the axe, and he's going to start swinging the axe around and conquering all of Middle-earth. Celebrate the Mountain King. Oh my god, they're trimming his beard. No, they're combing his beard and spritzing him with perfumes. He must hate that. When this enchantment enters, for each opponent, you exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. And when it enters, you recruit. So this is a slightly upgraded... Oh gosh, there is another card that does the same thing. It costs like 1 white, and it hits all players. But it also gets recruit. And this is the first card we're seeing with recruit. When you recruit, you loot. You draw a card, and then you discard a card. If you discard a land, nothing else happens. If you discard a non-land, you get a 1/1 token. The token is a white human creature token. Good for making tokens for like the cards we saw above. I think that this is okay removal. It costs more than your regular, banishing light. If you're playing in 2-headed giant, I guess it would get you more value, which that's cool if you're going to a pre-release. And also you can get a 1/1 sometimes, or you can just filter your hand. I feel that this is maybe in Commander going to replace or just be in addition to that other card that's like for each opponent you exile a card. But I think it's fine for limited. This is very much limited removal that's, got an upside if you have multiple opponents. Grasp of Fate, thank you Dark Booty in the chat for mentioning Grasp of Fate. That is the card I was thinking of. Dane, Lord of the Iron Hills. Oh my god, another dwarf, and he has little songbirds. Oh my god, stop with this. I love dwarves. I think dwarves are like one of the best of fantasy creature types. I need to make a dwarf in D&D soon. I run a human paladin right now who is like very much on purpose the most like bland vanilla man of all time. His name is Christian Holiday. Yeah, it's one of those where you start with the pun and you work backwards. 2 mana, 2/2 dwarf noble. He has vigilance and he is storied. So storied is kind of like the city's blessing, where once you achieve storied by having any creature that is storied out and then having 3 or more artifacts, legendaries, legendary permanents, and or sagas, you have an enduring story. So if you have an enduring story, you always have one until the end of the game, even if you only momentarily achieve being storied. As long as you have an enduring story, creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. I think with the number of legends in this set, you will have this happen, and this is a small tax to pay, but a large enough tax as like Archangel of Tithes kind of thing, that on a 2/2, it's going to be annoying and it will slow down the game. I think that this is the kind of draft uncommon that if you are looking to build up to something big to win the game, it's going to be big. It's going to protect you. So yeah, I would say Dane, help you do some pillow forting, a little bit of taxing in your limited games. How do I feel about this? Yeah, this propaganda dwarf outside of it. It's tough because it is like a dwarf deck, but if you're building like a Death and Taxes Staxy kind of deck, shucks, you just bodied a tokens deck. And I feel that in Commander, 3 or more artifacts, legendaries, or sagas, and he counts himself. I have a Soul Ring out. I have Dane out. I have my Commander out. I have an Enduring Story. Yeah, Propagandorf. That's him. Dwarven Provisioner. Just a dwarf citizen, giving them some delicious, delicious meal. 2 mana, 2/2. Can pump for 4 mana and can do it at instant speed on either player's turn. This is going to be one of those cards that will win games, but you don't need to pick it that highly. It's just these buffs, like, they can make a difference, especially if you're going wide, you're playing a lot of creatures. And 4 mana, especially if you have something slowing down the game, isn't that much. Yeah, I'd say so far the art in this set, it's speaking to me. I saw a picture of, there's a pony card in Colorless, we're gonna see it later, and it was like, I'm sold, I need the set. Have you seen this horse? Have you seen how cute the ponies are? Dwarven Short Sword. A short sword for a short guy, 4 mana equipment. When it enters, you make a dwarf token, a red dwarf token. Okay, so it's in white, but it makes a red dwarf, and you give him the sword. It gets +1, +2, and has an equip of 2. So this is a 4 mana, 3/4 that you can move later. And we haven't seen it yet. There is an equipment sub-theme for some of the dwarves. Big surprise. There's, I think, an ability called Hone we'll see later. And I think that that means that this is an okay creature, because it's also an equipment. I think Dwarven Short Sword, yeah, it's like a curve filler, but if you have some stuff that cares about equipment, it gets even better. Eagle of the Great Shelf. Giant Eagle. 5 mana, 2/5 Birdo. It has flying, and whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control. If you have gone wide, this will swing big. Do I think it's a super high pick? I'm not sure. Right now, it's a... If there are a lot of things with reach and flying, it's not as good. But, I mean, swinging in with a big flyer wins games. Flyers win games, so definitely not a bad pick for limited. The Eagles are coming! Well, yeah, we actually already saw the eagle. It's there. Okay, we just saw it. 2 mana, instant, with a kicker of 4, so you're either paying 2 mana or 6 mana for this. Choose target creature you own. If this spell was kicked, instead, choose any number of target creatures you own. You return them to your hand, either one of them or all of them. At the beginning of the next upkeep, you create a 4/4 white bird soldier creature token with flying for each creature returned to your hand this way. So you could say, block all of your opponent's creatures, and then the Eagles are coming. You rescue the card to your hand, and then next turn, you get a bird. Now, the bird has summoning sickness, but you get a bird. I feel like this is a card that's... It's good. It's fine. I think that it is a little, like, slow and tricky. If you have good enter the battlefield that lets you use them again by casting, is it good board wipe evasion? Yes. And you're, I guess, able to use it to rescue your stuff. Here's the problem. If you have to use this before combat, you're kind of shields down on whatever creature you bounced into your hand. I think that, like, 2 mana to potentially get a 4/4 bird with this return, it's okay. Would I pick it super highly as a rare? Maybe. If there's not a lot of defense against flyers, but there are a lot of, like, good little enter the battlefields you can return in, this gets even better. Yeah, it's a 2-mana 4/4 flyer that comes out a turn after, but you do need to have a creature, and you do need to return a creature to your hand. It's tricky. I feel like I will try it unlimited and see how it is. Ezragoth Garrison, a 5-mana star 5. Power is equal to the number of creatures you control. So kind of like this guy. Wider you go, better it gets. When this creature enters, you recruit. So you get to loot and go wider. So assuming you're not discarding a land, it's going to have at least 2 power. But if you do discard a land, you know what? 5 mana, 1/5. These loots, by the way, are going to be huge for helping sculpt your hand. Late game, you discard lands. Unless you, like, desperately need a token. Yeah, this feels like filler, though. It's 5 mana. 5 mana's tough. Says next upkeep, which could mean theirs. It depends on whose turn you cast this on. If you cast this on your turn, you get the birds in your opponent's upkeep. If you cast it on your opponent's turn, you get the birds in your upkeep. It's just the next upkeep. Feely, the Pathfinder. More dwarves. Who's judging him in the background? 4 mana, 2/2 Dwarf Scout. He has got storied as well. As long as you have an enduring story, creatures you control get +1/+1. So he is an anthem, but only if you have an enduring story. Whenever Feely or another non-token dwarf you control enters, you get a 2/2 red dwarf. With the number of dwarves in this set, that seems like it'll be pretty good for limited. Now, the storied part, that actually feels just kind of like a bonus to me of, yes, he gives you this anthem. But I think the fact that it's like, this is 4 mana for 2 2/2s that could become 3/3s, could make even more creatures. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it being pretty good for limited. Go wide, get big. Does it both on the same card. Would I see this being played anywhere else? Yes, dwarf typal decks, and that's about it. Gleaming Splendor. Oh my god, Smog, you can't just be looking this sexy. Like in the first card we see you on. Ridiculous. Smog's the dragon. 2 mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you create a treasure token. It's not Trouble in Pairs, and it's not Smothering Tithes. It's Gleaming Splendor. And you can make 2 target players each draw a card. This is for EDH. Don't play this in limited. This is for limited. Yeah, Smog's here to mog. Yeah, he's mogging. Look at this. I think that this card, if you are playing 2-headed giant, is like a must include. 3 mana, you and your best bud, you're drawing a card. If you're not playing 2-headed giant, this is a politics card in Commander. And I feel like it's a funny one too, because it's like, yeah, I play my sexy dragon, and then I'm like, we're drawing. Treasures. Let's go. If you make 2 other players draw their second cards, would you make 2 treasures? Yes. It's not 1 or more opponents if you did it simultaneously. People like to draw cards, believe it or not. Iron Hills Blacksmith. Another dwarf. 2 mana, 1/1, but with double strike. Very good to put equipment on. And whenever it enters, you get an equipment. In equipment, it is an axe, and it gives +1/+0 and has equip 2. Nice. So you can turn this 2 mana 1/1 into a 2/1 by paying 2 more mana. And has double strike. Feels pretty nice to me as both the equipments and the dwarves archetype. Oh, somebody's asking about, like, this in Bumbleflower. Yeah. It's not tap treasures, too, so you can, like, use the treasures to keep fueling more Bumbleflower nonsense. Killy the Resourceful. 2 mana, 1/2, storied. As long as you have an enduring story, you can pay 0 instead of the equip cost of the first equipment ability you activate each turn. Seems good with this guy. Whenever another dwarf or equipment you control enters, you draw a card. This ability triggers only once a turn. That's a double whammy right there. You're playing dwarves, you're playing equipments, you're drawing cards, you're reducing these equip costs. I think it's going to be good if you are in that archetype for limited. Otherwise, it's a 2-mana 1/2. But I feel like you're going to have other dwarves. This is kind of like allies in Avatar, where there are a large number of them, but it is not the entirety of the set. In fact, it's probably less of it. But since we started with white, a lot of dwarves in white, I'm going to guess a lot of dwarves in red as well. Yeah, by the way, I could even see running this in Commander as a just free equip once a turn. Like, I do that with other cards as well, because we all want to use a Colossal Hammer. Lake Town Lookout. Not a dwarf. It's a human scout, a 1-mana 1/1. When it dies, you recruit, which means you could potentially have it make another token when it dies. If there is a sacrifice archetype or tokens archetype you're building into, I could see that being all right. Otherwise, it's okay. I do think that like the recruit mechanic is going to be a little tricky because you're going to have to decide between, am I dropping this land? Am I making a thing? Sculpting your hand can be tough. The Lake Town Toy Maker. Oh, she's making a fancy wood fish. 4-mana 3/4 human artificer. At the beginning of combat in your turn, if you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, you can give another creature +3/+0 and first strike. It's going to be inconsistent because you need to set up that card draw. I'd say that this is kind of like in the middle for me. That is a good buff, but it's not easy to achieve. Magnificent End. Shooting right into that heart scale. We've got the 5-mana instant. It costs 3 less if you target a tapped creature, and it deals 5 to the creature. Now, I assume every Smog in the set has 5 or less toughness, or that would be really silly. Magnificent End, it's going to be removal for limited. Is it amazing removal? Well, it kills, I think, every single creature we've seen so far. So you know what? It's good enough. And the fact that it doesn't need to hit a tapped creature is good, because there are some creatures with vigilance. We've already seen one. Yeah, if you need removal, it is removal. Is it good removal? It's fine. Moment of Glory. Oh, thematic. 1-mana sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If this spell was cast from the graveyard, you also put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. So you get to put a counter for 1 mana, or put counters on everything for 5 mana. If there's a +1/+1 counter theme, which we haven't seen one yet, that's not bad. If you're going wide on tokens, that helps you buff them up. If there's something about targeting, that's all right. But it's not that impressive of a card. It's fine. Mountain King's Return. 3 mana for this saga, and it lasts for 3 chapters. Chapter 1, you recruit. So doing very little there, maybe making you a token. Yes, I think the flashback with the recruit is nice. Chapter 2, return target creature with a mana value of 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you could say discard on the recruit and then reanimate. Chapter 3, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. This is very kind of mundane as a card. I would not pick this that highly unless I had other synergies to go with it. I mean, it leans into story. It brings you a thing back. If you have like an amazing 3-drop or less creature that you're like, well, this will be a slow reanimation for it, that works too. Ori, Keeper of Songs, another one of our dwarves. 3 mana, 3/3, storied. As long as you have an enduring story, Ori gets +1/+1 in vigilance. So this is very much a common legend. It feels like a common legend. It's a card filler. It's not that impressive. The Queen of Dale. I've heard a lot of murmurs about this card, and I haven't read this card yet. 2 mana, 2/1 human noble. Look at you, you're like a Thalia. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, you recruit. Ooh. Okay. Okay. That feels like it's just value. If I'm playing a tokens deck, I might consider her for it. You know what stinks, though? I don't love this in Brawl. Even though I have, like, the sculpting my hand, I feel like the Brawl matchmaking, this is ignoring competitive Brawl, it's going to put her against Leovold, and then you just, like, are forced to discard. I kind of wish this were a Mei. I wish this were a Mei ability. Oh, she's pre-selling for quite a bit. Yeah, I will tell you guys right now. Hey, you can pre-order cards from The Hobbit from sponsor of my channel, tcgplayer.com. You should, if you are trying to buy singles from this set, exercise a little bit of patience, because prices will typically become a little more subdued like a week or two after the set comes out. Pre-order prices are always nutty, but maybe you just get some sealed product so you can crack some packs and then, like, get your singles a week after. Yeah, pre-order prices are always nuts, especially for, like, kind of interesting cards. Yeah, the filtering, I think, is very nice. Maybe this goes into something, oh gosh, even like a Rafine Legends deck. It is a good card, though, and it is definitely going to be good and limited because it's just a 2-mana 2/1 that sometimes gets you more. And that means that, like, at its base, it's fine. People will cast non-creature spells. And there's no reason to, like, not do it. Maybe this would go into, like, even Hashaton as, like, a fun discard outlet. But it's a little... I think it's not controlled enough for it. Roads go ever on. A 2-mana saga. Oh yeah, somebody's asking, do I have a code for TCG Player? I have a link. So if you're watching this as a video, it's in the description. If you're watching it on screen, there's a button you can click. And if you shop at tcgplayer.com, even your pre-orders using my link, they help support the channel even more. Thank you, TCG Player. Look, see, I'm wearing the shirt. Search your library for up to 2 basic Plains cards, exile them, shuffle, you gain 2 life. You exile them. Okay, so this is a rare saga. It's at 2 mana. We've got 2 Plains, they're in exile. Put a card exiled with the saga into its owner's hand, and then do it again. So, turn 1, you're doing very little. Turn 2, get a Plains. Turn 3, get a Plains. Whenever you attack this turn, target creature you control gets +1/+1 for each Plains you control. Okay, it's a very telegraphed buff to the attack. It is card advantage. It's getting you these. I feel like this would be very great to play on turn 2 Unlimited. It's like, yeah, I get 2 Plains across the next few turns, but it doesn't help you on the turn you play it. Oh yeah, I knew this was coming. Settle the Wreckage. Settle the Wreckage is being reprinted. It has awesome new art, and it's going to be legal and standard. If you're not familiar with Settle the Wreckage, here's what I can tell you, just word of advice. If you see 4 open mana and 2 of it is white, exercise some caution, because you don't know if your opponent is bluffing or if they have this. Exile all attacking creatures target player controls, and they get lands for each of those creatures if they would like to. Settle the Wreckage, currently, I don't think is actually that well positioned in Standard. I think that this is the kind of card that control decks, maybe the Jeskai control decks, run one of, or put on their sideboard. But that's all you need, because once you get settled once, you're like, oh, well that was rough, and I lost because of it. And then you have to start paying attention. And then you might misplay because you think they have it, or they don't have it. Just the fact that it's legal in the format might change the way you need to play. One of the things, though, I think that makes Settle the Wreckage a lot less scary right now is how big Earthbending is. Settle the Wreckage kind of sucks against Earthbend. Like, the lands come back and then they get another land. Great. Yeah. This is a turn 4 board clear where we have a better turn 4 board clear. We have, like a Wrath of God kind of effect. Day of Judgment, whatever one is the one that doesn't regenerate or doesn't have that text. But yeah, Standard is so fast right now that I feel like holding up 4 mana for something like this is tough. That's why I think it's like a one of in the Jeskai decks. but I'm not a standard player. Don't listen to me. About limited, though, yeah. No, the thing I said about keeping an eye out for 4 open mana in limited, keep an eye out. This is such a big swing. And I will say, I think Settle the Wreckage is very good in limited. Yes, it does ramp your opponent, but you use this as a, like, you have swung with everything. And it's gone. You can rebuild. Your deck is thinner. But, like, I lived and everything else is gone. Okay, so a lot of commander-brained people are like, but what about self-ramp? You don't. You don't self-ramp. I have seen Settle the Wreckage cast on the person attacking stuff like once, and that's about it. Also, in Standard, we actually have an instant speed board wipe from Thunder Junction. I want to say it's like 5 or 6 mana, but it's kind of also taking up that opportunity. Stone by Sunlight. So the trolls in Middle-earth turn to stone when the daylight is out. So they stop trying to eat you and your buddies. 2 mana instant, choose one, you destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, or until end of turn, target creature becomes an artifact and gains indestructible. So this is a flexible spell that is either protecting something or destroying something, which I think means it's pretty decent and limited. It's limited in what it can destroy. It can only hit big threats. But that's not bad. Yeah, Final Showdown. It's 6 mana minimum. Okay, thank you. That's the instant feed board wipe we were talking about. This seems fine for limited, though. I like the flexibility. Thorin's Last Stand. Instant. Choose one. Creatures get +2/+1 until end of turn, or destroy target artifact or enchantment, you gain 2 life. Another nice flexible card. This is the kind of card you only run as a finisher, I think, if you are going wide and white with lots of recruit and dwarves. But I like that it says destroy artifact or enchantment. Right now, we haven't seen that many artifacts and enchantments worth destroying. There's the one, like, Banishing Light type effect. Or I guess Grasp of Fate type effect. But, like, the sagas, I feel like the sagas we've seen, they're not worth using. That said, haven't seen all the sagas yet. An Unexpected Party. Aww. 4 mana, a whole company of dwarves. Look at them! Look at how cute this art is. That's nice. I like seeing just a menagerie of guys, and it's cute. 4 mana enchantment at the door. Make X 2/2 red dwarf creature tokens. This is sorcery speed. Oof, it's X and 3. And then, as a 4 mana enchantment, when it enters, you choose a creature type, and the creatures is a chosen type. Dwarves? Get +2/+2. I feel like this is kind of expensive, but I think for limited, you can pull this off. And if you're like, well, I don't have the time to make the dwarves, but I have a lethal swing if I say buff all my dwarves or buff all my humans, maybe even soldiers. I think that some of the creatures are also like just soldiers in this, because the recruit tokens are human soldiers. At least one of the dwarves is probably a soldier too. Yeah, I think this is probably good for limited. Outside of it, in like typal decks, it's a maybe. If this is the sort of deck where you're just like, I go super wide and then I want like a turbo anthem, you can do something with that. Yes, X 2 white is very expensive for an on-speed sorcerer, like an on-curve sorcery shenanigans. Maybe you can ramp in green. Velvet Wing Butterflies. These are some butterflies that Bilbo saw. There's a lot of animals that he just kind of sees and mentions offhand. And then they have cards. 3 mana 2/2 flyer. You can gaze in wonder. You can gaze in wonder at Rolandery too. Tap 1 or 2 creatures. Okay. And then it's a flyer. So this is one of those things where like you can use this to like discount your destroy effect, stop your opponent from attacking, stop your opponent from blocking, and then you get a kind of whatever creature. It's a 3 mana 2/2 flyer. I think this is fine for limited. It's something that's flexible enough that it's not bad, but it's also not doing anything too crazy. Vow to Erebor. Look at these very serious dwarves. 2 mana instant, untap target creature you control gets +2/+2, and if it's a dwarf, you can put an equipment on it. Not a bad trick. I think that these untap tricks can be very good as like a, you thought, untap. It's a nice combat trick. Would you play it outside of limited? It's tough. It's one of those things where like, it's cool that you get the free equip. We actually have another combat trick that gives a free equip from the first Kaladesh or Aether Result. I don't remember which of those sets. Back when they made some dwarf cards. And they're okay. I do think that it's fine now. Yeah, untap and the equipment means you can get like double buffs on there. And then the Arkenstone, which has been categorized with the white spells because it has a white adventure. Interesting. 5 mana, legendary artifact. You seek the heart. And there's your Arkenstone. It is a 3 mana sorcery. You search your library for a legendary creature card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. That seems par for the course for white tutors for legendary creatures. It's like, that's not cheap. It's kind of like Sarima. And then creatures you control get +1/+1 at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. I think that this card is good for limited. I think that just the sort of an Immortal Sun at 5 mana is great for limited. And I feel that the left side of the card might make you think you can only play this if you are in white. Don't. This card can go in any deck. I will say, I think that if you are, like, if you're playing, this is not too slow because it also gives you the Anthem. It draws an end step. I would put this in almost any limited deck. How do we feel about it anywhere else? Like putting this maybe in like a white artifact deck? It's a maybe. It's one of those things where it's like, if you're desperate for card draw and you're in white, there might be better options, but it's not bad. Yeah, in a Historic Matters deck, it could be cute. And then we're going to move on to blue. But before we talk about blue cards and Bilbo, I'll take a short break, drink a little coffee. Bilbo Luck Wearer, our first card in blue. A 2 mana halfling rogue. Gandalf just keeps hiring hobbits to do these weird things. He can't be blocked. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and then discard a card. Some lootin'! And is a Burglar's Plot, a 5 mana adventure where you exchange control of 2 non-land permanents that share a card type. So you can take your, say, 1/1 token and exchange it with your opponent's Smog. That's kind of fun on an uncommon. I think that this being like an unblockable creature is actually kind of nice in the set because we know that there are equipment that are doing things. And sure, he's not a dwarf, he can't get them for free. Who cares? It's unblockable damage. I think that this card is a pretty nice uncommon because it gives you a clock, it gives you a filter. The only thing I do not like about this card, and this is going to seem a little me, it's not a May ability. When it deals combat damage, you have to draw and discard. I overdraw myself sometimes in limited. You only have 40 cards, okay? You only have 40 cards. Bilbo, Thief in the Night. A 2 mana 2/2 halfling rogue. Hey, wait a minute. How many Bilbos are we gonna get? Bilbo count of 2. Sure. Spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 1 less to cast. That includes Flashback, casting things from your graveyard. That includes adventures, cards that you have exiled to go on an adventure. I don't know what other mechanics in this set would count for that, but it counts your command zone. Whenever Bilbo attacks, you can cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell from your graveyard. If an instant or sorcery spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, you exile instead. Oh, you're like a snapcaster. Oh, nice. He enables himself. This feels good for limited. It discounts some stuff, and it gives you sort of like card advantage. And you can use those spells you bring back to protect Bilbo, because he does have to attack. Could this cast an adventure from the graveyard? I believe so. Because it says you cast a spell from your graveyard, not a card from your graveyard. And then you could put it into exile on an adventure as a replacement effect over doing it else. Yeah, I think the artifact recursion is nice. I think that's pretty good. How do I feel about it for commanders? Like, if you have a deck that's built around casting from outside of hand or casting from exile, it could be a fun include. Bilbo Baggins Burglar. Yeah, it's a mythic rare. Bilbo count? 3. 3 Bilbos to set off blue. What the heck? 3 mana, 2/1. Take a glance. Scry 2. That's the thing you do on turn 1 when you have nothing else that you're doing, or if you have 1 extra mana before you play this guy. And when he enters, you draw a card. Okay, great. He's a cantrip in 2/1. You know what that means? He's fine and limited. Seriously, it's a 3 mana 2/1 that draws you a card. It's fine. It replaces itself. And it's a Bilbo. Only problem with it, it's a common and it's legendary. Good part about a legendary? Stories! Bad part about a legendary. You can't have more than 1 of them out, so you don't want to pick like 4 of these for your deck. Except there is a mechanic in this set, or a card, we will see it later, that helps deal with your common legends. Confiscate and be bother. This is Bilbo washing dishes after the dwarves have stormed his home. 3 mana, instant. Counter target spell unless its controller plays 4. Or draw 2 cards and then discard a card. Hey, this falls under like Confounding Riddle and all those other cards that are just nice, flexible spells. I think that this is a pretty good card for limited. It is a good enough counter spell. This will counter most things because people tend to tap out, especially early and limited. Or if it's late in the game, they can pay for it. You draw 2, you discard 1. It's like just kind of a filter, but that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. Elrond. Moon Reader. Oh my god, he looks so cool. By the way, elves in this set, they don't have a scry mechanic. Galadriel and Elrond and everybody else from the Lord of the Rings set do not work particularly well with the elves of this set. With the exception of, some of the elves have a landfall sub-theme, and some of the cards, like specifically Galadriel, help with landfall. Alright, Elrond, Moon Reader. He's a mythic rare elf. A 3/3. For 3 mana. Whenever you activate an ability of a creature, draw a card. Once a turn. 4, 6, nope, 7. I know how to read. 7 mana, exile up to 2 other target non-land permanents you control, and return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So he has a big, slow blink that also gets you that card draw. If you activate a mana ability, I believe that would still work for Elrond. I think that there are a lot of decks where this will just give you a ton of passive card draw, even if it's only once per turn. Kind of like that new Loki card. Only trouble with it, it's at 3 mana. But that's okay. 3 mana that draws you lots of cards, that's fine. Now for limited, you'd want free activated abilities for this to be good. If you have mana dorks, yeah, it doesn't say non-mana ability on here. If you have mana dorks, if you have something that has like a 1 mana and tap ability, anything that is a free ability that you activate. Activated abilities, by the way, are always formatted with cost, : effect. That seems good. That's good card draw. Also, it's a 3 mana, 3/3, and I guess if you have 7 mana, you can use this to be really annoying in combat and be like, I block your things, and then I blink them, and I draw a card, and then they come back at the end of the turn. So yeah, it seems pretty decent to me for limited. And it could get you a card draw. Card advantage, good. But I don't know how good it is for limited without knowing all the activated abilities in the set. This is the trouble of, like, I don't have a psychic way to, like, group all cards good with Elrond together yet. Dude, yeah, he is sexy. Not as sexy as the Smog we saw, but he's still killing it. Elven Raft Steerer. Oh my god, speaking of pretty elves, look at this guy. 3 mana, 3/2, Landfall. Yes, Landfall's in the set. It's the elf mechanic. Tap target creature an opponent controls. Untap target creature you control. This is a triggered ability, and it seems pretty nice. Like, Landfall, tap a thing down is annoying. You can even use this to just be like, yeah, Landfall, untap so I can block after combat. It feels like a solid uncommon for doing that. Yes, he is a pilot. So this is one of the first pilots we've seen that is not associated with, like, a mech or a spaceship. This is more like, well, it's not a sailor because we don't have that as a type. And it's not a pirate. It's a raft steerer. Elven King's Harper. 2 mana, 2/2, elf bard. There's your activated ability. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. That's a very expensive ability. Will it eventually kill someone? Yes. Is it worth it? Maybe if you have something huge with a great on-hit ability. But I think that that's kind of rough at 2 mana with a 5 mana ability. Enchanted River's Grasp. 3 mana, Aura. When this aura enters, you tap the enchanted creature, you remove all the counters from that creature, the creature loses all abilities and doesn't untap. This is blue's removal, and I'd say these cards tend to be pretty good in limited unless there's a lot of ways to return things to your hand. Or destroy enchantments. We've seen like one destroy enchantment. Enchanted River's Grasp is... Oh yeah, card drivers are also pilots. Those are like the original pilots from Kaladesh and Amonkhet. Or sorry, Kaladesh, Aether Revolt, and then later Amonkhet Maranganda, I guess, because it was all the Avishkar stuff. Man, Aether Drift was a weird set. If black has good sacrifice outlets, yeah, it's like they can use this creature up for fodder. It's not bad. I think that, like, that's the best blue removal we've seen so far, because it's the only blue removal I've seen, other than a counterspell. Fateful Discovery. I'm just going to tell you right now, don't play this in limited. I don't care how many artifacts you have, don't play this in limited. This is a 5-mana enchantment. Now, yes, you play this in Commander. Speaking of high pre-order prices for this set, I haven't looked it up yet, but I suspect this is going to be one of the most expensive cards from this set. Because it's whenever an artifact you control enters, draw a card. Well, Amy, aren't there ways to go infinite with that, having things that make you artifacts based on your card draw? Well, by golly, there sure are. This is a Commander card if ever there was one. And I think Fateful Discovery is going to be one of those, like, kind of greedy cards that people throw into their decks because it's great value. It gets you tons of cards. It does a thing. Could I see playing this in a deck that cares about enchantments and artifacts? Sure, something where you're making artifact tokens. Yeah. Fateful Discovery, it's just getting you what you want. But it does it at 5 mana, which means that it's not like super aggressive or setting up for like one turn. This is like a later kind of thing. So I'm gonna actually look on TCG Player to see, like, Fateful Discovery. Pre-order prices are always bonkers. And pre-order prices, they're kind of bonkers. It makes sense. Yeah, it's like starting at 20. It is a mythic rare. Academy Manufactor. Finally, we've broken Academy Manufactor. Yeah, I don't entirely know the flavor here. So it's Bilbo finding the One Ring. He finds it in the cave, but he only finds it once. He doesn't keep finding it over and over and over. Yes, there's no May ability on this, so you have to have a way to exit your infinite combo. Gandalf, Wandering Wizard. A 5-mana 4/5 with Ward 3. Very high ward cost for limited. 6 mana, Gandalf's owner shuffles him into their library and draws 3 cards. Huh. He does sometimes just disappear. This is your common Gandalf. He feels like a good curve filler. Yeah, that's an ability. It's a weird ability. Every day he's shuffling. Whoa! Boat! Boat, 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 boat. Whenever you attack, not with this vehicle, whenever you attack at all, you recruit! It's a 3-mana 4/4 boat and it has crew too! That's a pretty good boat. Saying this Gandalf feels mid, it's a common! It's a card filler. Boat. I wouldn't pick this super highly over some of the other recruit things we've seen. But it's not a terrible boat. I guess if you're building a boats deck, you can put this in your boat deck. Yay! It's a really pretty boat. It's a great and gilded. Lakeshore Apothecary. Yeah, it's like, this is not a super high pick rare to me, but I'm sure to other people it might be. Because, like, on attack, you get to recruit. That's kind of nice. Lakeshore Apothecary. She's giving you that ibuprofen. You and me, girl. We're handing these. 2 mana, 1/2 with Vigilance. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So she's kind of like a fairy vandal. If you have good card draw things, like this recruit engine, this gets much better. I like the Vigilance on it. This is not a card that at base is very good, though. It is only made good if you have card draw. Which, again, we have all that recruit. Lake Town Mariners. A 6-mana, 6/5 with Vigilance and Ward 2. Also got some good ward, good stats right there. Can swing in pretty freely. And you can go fishing. It's a 4-mana instant. You exile 2 creatures or lands you control. Return them to the battlefield under their owner's control. Oh, interesting. That's a nice big blink. But I think that it's funny that you could be like, I blink one of my creatures and one of my land to refund a mana from this. You get landfall triggers, yup. And since they come in untapped, like, sure. Yeah, you can protect your lands against strip mine. You're not gonna have 4 mana against a strip mine. I think that this is a pretty nice card for limited, though. Like, both sides of it. I think these fishermen could have killed Smog. This is a 6/5 fisherman. Those are some pretty looking trout, though. Long Lake Nuisance. Stealing the fish from those fishermen. This looks like a great blue heron. Like the way that this bird is. We have those around here. They're good birds. A 4-mana 3/1 flyer when it enters recruit. 4-mana 3/1 flyer I feel like is too vulnerable. Even though we haven't seen that much birdage so far. I don't like the stat line. The Lord of the Eagles is 9 mana, but it costs X less, where X is the total power of creatures you control with flying. It's not Galta, but it's kind of like Galta, and it's also got flash, and it's an 8/8. I'm gonna go ahead and say we should build this for Brawl. I think this sounds like a really fun commander for Brawl because it's just, hey, can I cast this for 2 blue by playing a lot of birds? Yeah, well, freaking Kaka is a big bird. This is a simple Timmy card for blue. How do I feel about it for limited? Okay, how many birds do you have? I feel like this is going to be really hard to cast unless you have mostly flyers in your deck, which just doesn't really happen in limited. Yeah, use your Mockingbirds in standard to just make flying everythings. Would go hard with Palantir. Yes, if you see in your scrying orb a Lord of the Eagle and your opponent chooses to put it into your graveyard, well, they're losing 9 life. Yes, I will say, I don't think this is a card for Limited. This is a card for Commander, and will I be playing this card in Commander? You frickin' bet it! Well, at least in Brawl. I'll try to make it work! It's Lord of the Eagles! This Blue Galta! Are there any Flying Lords in this set? Haven't seen one yet, but there might be one in, like, blue-white, because Eagle colors. There's not, like, a specific flying theme in Limited. Good bird. Masters, Counselors. I know how to read. A 2-mana 1/3 with Vigilance. It gets +2/+0 for each graveyard with 7 or more cards in it. Super Threshold! So this could be a 3/3 or even a 5/3 in a 2-person game. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, target player mills 3 cards. Hey, that could add up in Limited. I like that you use this to mill your opponent and it buffs itself. I think that this is actually pretty nice, because at base it's a 2-mana 1/3 with Vigilance, and it gets more. Mirkwood Mediator, some sort of an elf. A 3-mana 2/4 elf. Landfall, whenever a land you control enters, you may have this become a 4/2. Yeah, this is lame, I don't care about this. Most Decrepit Old Bird. Another card to name on your pithing needles when you've already lost and you just want to say something mean. It's a 1-mana 1/1 that gets +1/+1 if there are 7 or more cards in a graveyard. So sometimes it's a 1-mana 2/2, put it in your bird's deck, and you can speak secrets. Mill 4 cards, put an instant or sorcery from among them into your hand. This seems alright. This is a card that, like, I would pick in Limited because it's a 1-mana 1/1 flyer and I know what I'm about. It's cool, though, that it has this, like, extra, if you have a decent number of instants or sorceries, or you have something that's interacting with your graveyard, it fills it up. Do we run out of names? Okay, so there's a lot of names in this set. You're going to see more of them as we go on that are these strange descriptive names. Like, Fat Old Spider Can't See Me. I think that's one of them. They are all lines, I believe, from The Hobbit. Some of them are things that are, like, spoken, like Bilbo will say them. Some of them are descriptions in the book. Some of them are even lines from poems. Yeah. Old Fat Spider Can't See Me. It's literally the next card. It's a great name for a card if you're just kind of stringing nonsense together. It's Bilbo sneaking past an old fat spider. Yup. It's a saga. Target creature you control gains hexproof for as long as the saga remains in the battlefield. Now, this is a 3-mana 4-chapter saga, and I actually really like this one. Chapter 2, prevent all damage that would be dealt by up to 1 target creature for as long as the saga remains on the battlefield. So kind of like protect one of yours, make one of theirs not as good, then draw a card, then draw a card. This is a good amount of value. It is slow value, but I like how all these abilities go together. Are all the sagas song and poem names? Yes, yeah, I believe so. Because I think we got down to Goblin Town, which also could have been called, like, the Black Crack or something. Plunder the Troll Shaws. Oh, and as far as would I put this in, say, a enchantments deck? No. Would I put this in a Tom Bombadil deck? I'd say this is a maybe for Tom Bombadil. This is a maybe for Tommy B. Yeah, we got more sagas for Thomas Bobombus. Plunder the Troll Shaws, a 2-mana instant. You draw a card. If it was cast from your graveyard, you draw 2 instead. I think that this is fine for Limited. This is just a good card draw, and if you recruit this and put it into your graveyard, then yeah, it's an instant speed, like 4-mana, draw 2 that you're just using from your graveyard as a bonus. I think that's very nice for this set, and I think that, like, it'll lean nicely into the other mechanics we've had. Ravenhill Flock. Bird with a stick. Who will he pick? A 4-mana 1/2 flyer. Whenever you draw a card, you put a counter on this creature. If you play this on turn 4, this will become a must-kill threat. If you play this on turn 8, nobody cares. Unless your opponent's, like, at 1. Ravenhill Flock is the kind of card that I would be kind of a maybe on, but it will end some games, especially if it's played early. It forces your opponent to deal with it because it's going to be the biggest bird around. Riddles in the Dark. This is one of the first cards I think we had seen from the set with the giant golem eyes in the background. Smeagol, what are you doing there? 3-mana instant, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You separate them into a face-up pile and a face-down pile, and the opponent chooses one of the piles to go into your hand, and the other goes into your graveyard. This is a 3-mana instant speed Fact or Fiction effect, which, sure. What's in my pocket? A new card for me to put in my Celestial Toymaker deck. It's Fact or Fiction! Yeah! I like Fact or Fiction. That's why I have a Celestial Toymaker deck, which is every single Fact or Fiction deck, or every single Fact or Fiction card ever printed is in it. Which is why I will be purchasing this card, because I love making piles. It's a mini game! Oh, Mock in the chat found the fat old fat spider line in their copy of The Hobbit. For them, whatever printing they have, it's on page 173. So yes, this is in fact a thing that Bilbo says in the book. Or thinks in the book. Roll, 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 roll. The dwarves get into barrels and they go down the rivers to escape the elves. This is a 3-mana rare saga. Exile up to 1 target creature or land you control, and if you do, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Oof. This triggers at the start of your first main, which means you can tap a land and then exile it, but it comes back at the beginning of the next end step. The timing of this card is what I do not like. If this was like an end step thing, but that's not how sagas work, it'd be like, oh, I attack it with it, and then I blink and it comes back. But you have to do this so early. So early. Yeah, I don't love it. Even if you have like some good enter the battlefield stuff, it's just the timing of this card I'm not into. There might be some like blink enchantment decks that like this, but I think for the most part, like you're running your Airbender's Ascension instead. It's not good enough for landfall because the timing's weird. Yeah, it's weird. I'm not into it. Sound the trumpets. Counter target spell if the spell's mana value is 2 or less. Recruit. Okay, it's cancel with set upside. It's fine to have one of these in your blue decks in limited. It's even uncommon. Not bad. Thranduil's Decree. Out here killing it and pointed at these dwarves. A 6-mana counterspell. If a permanent spell is countered this way, you exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. And you can cast that card without paying its mana cost for as long as it remains exiled. This does not work on people's commanders. I am just going to tell you this now. As a person who has played pretty much every stealing counter spell that's ever been printed, because, listen, you gotta know something about yourself, and the thing I know about me is that I like to do crime. It's good. But it doesn't work against your opponent's commanders because they just take it out of exile. Ugh! Will this win some draft games? Absolutely. This card, even though it's 6 mana, can be a huge blowout. That said, it is a 6-mana counterspell. But I would still run it. Would I run 2 of them? Probably not. That's probably too much mana. I would run 1 though. And then I would be like, gee, I sure hope that my opponent plays a big dumb bird or something that I can steal. Why did they add the last bit to the card? Oh, about as long as it remains exiled? Because of situations like people take the card out of exile and put it into the command zone. Uncover the Moon Letters. 4 mana, enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw X cards, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. If you do, discard 2 cards. I don't know how I feel about this for limited, because it is a 4-mana enchantment that requires you to cast non-creature spells later. I think that this has some potential as a filter and card draw engine for commander decks. It's probably too slow for Brawl. But it's for limited. I don't think it's good, especially because it's discard 2. It's not discard 1. I don't like it. And as a rare, there's probably an uncommon or common you'd probably rather take. Casually draw -2 off your baubles. This one is a May. This one does not just force you to randomly discard things. Uneasy Partings. 4 mana instant that costs 1 less if it targets an attacking non-token creature. And the target creature's owner puts it on a choice of the top or bottom of their library. This is your, not quite totally lost, but close enough. We've had this sort of thing before. And they tend to be very good tricks in limited, because it's like, hey, your thing, just gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna move it on top. You dedicate a lot of stuff into the swing. It can be a bit of a blowout. Maybe your opponent's double blocking, you throw something back on top. Do I think this is good for limited? Yes. Do I think you play it anywhere else? Maybe a Wan Shi Tong deck. Wan Shi Tong loves these things. Not the 2 mana Wan Shi Tong, the like 5 mana one. Wizard Staff! Just be happy that Vivi is banned in Standard. Because Wizard Staff is a 2 mana equipment that gives prowess. And if an ability of an equipped creature would trigger, it will trigger another time. It only costs 1 to give this to a wizard, too. Like Vivi. But don't worry, he's banned in Standard. I actually don't know if this is fast enough to have seen play in a Standard Vivi deck. But it's still really good. It's still a pretty darn good card. This is, It's a nice way to increase triggered abilities, but I think unless you're playing it on a wizard, say like a wizard commander that you're looking to double the abilities of, you won't play it. How do I feel about it for limited? It's nothing. It's nothing for limited. Just throw it in the trash. Who cares? Like giving prowess repeatedly at 2 mana plus 3 mana, because there's only a couple wizards in this set, and then you have to cast things, that's not worth it. I don't think that that's the kind of price. If it was like, and you get a permanent +1/+1 counter, I'd be like, maybe. But it's prowess. Yeah, there's a good number of wizards that will want this staff. I'm thinking like Cujo and stuff. Does the prowess get doubled? Yes. Yeah, that's part of it. It's, the prowess would trigger twice. But it's still like, it is 5 mana to set it up, and then you have to cast the spells. That's why I don't like it that much for limited. Do I think that it can still, like, do some good? Yeah. Maybe if you have some more equipment synergies that are doing things with it. So I'm saying Slick Shot show offs a wizard. Yeah. But it's another card that will double abilities. So if you have a commander that's built around triggering its ability, and you want a way to increase those triggers that's not just roaming throne, try Wizard Staff. Specifically if your card is a wizard. Is it prowess? And they both trigger twice? No. So it gives prowess once. But it then triggers twice when you cast a non-creature spell. And kind of like with white, we have a legendary blue artifact. Well, we have a colorless artifact with a blue adventure. Glamdring, Faux Hammer, with the Gleam of Death. A 4-mana sorcery that mills 6 cards and puts all instants and sorceries from among them into your hand. So if you have a glut of instants and sorceries, this will get you some. It is also a 2-mana equipment that makes your instants and sorceries cost X less to cast, where X is the equipped creature's power. It has an equip cost of 2, kind of giving a Vadric ability. And this is like 4 mana to get that discount, but the fact that it combines with the Gleam of Death, I think is really neat. This is a card that I'm not sure about playing in limited, because you're not likely to have that many instants and sorceries based on just what I've seen so far. This seems like a very creature-centric set compared to something like, you know, Strixhaven. But it seems good. It seems good if you're building around this type of ability. But you do need to have a creature, and you have to have it stay alive, and you have to put the equipment on it. Use it to set up for some big cheese. The first black spell, Along the Crooked Way, brings back Amass, but this time we're not amassing orcs. We're not amassing zombies. We're amassing goblins, but goblins is orcs and orcs is goblins in Middle-earth, so, you know, it's all the same thing, but legally distinct creature type. When you amass, you make a 0/0 token that is an army, if you don't already have one. Specifically, in this case, a goblin army. Then you put a counter onto your army. Now, if you already have an army token, or any army, it can even be an army creature, and you amass, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it becomes a zombie, or it becomes a, in this case, goblin army. So you add the goblin creature type. Oh, I guess there's also one amass sliver card. That's true. So this is a 3-mana rare enchantment. When it enters, you return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And it should trigger itself. Whenever a creature card leaves your graveyard, you amass a goblin. You can also give your goblins and orcs menace. This seems like a fine card for limited. It gets you a little guy. If you have lots of things that cause you to have creatures leave your graveyard, it will get you more stuff. It's not, like, amazing, but it seems just fine. Yes, if you had a changeling, or a shapeshifter with the changeling ability, it would amass onto it because it sees it as an army. Azog, Moria's Ruin, cool-looking goblin. A 3-mana, 1/3 goblin soldier. When Azog enters, you destroy up to one other target creature. Its controller amasses X goblins, where X is that creature's power, or goblins X. Amass goblins X. Such a weird way to do it. If you controlled that creature, you also draw a card. So you could use this to get rid of your opponent's card that has really powerful abilities and just turn it essentially into an army. Especially if you have ways to, like, bounce the army, that's a great way to get rid of it. Or you could turn your own thing that's already, like, big dumb vanilla into, you know, big dumb vanilla that draws you cards. You think this is a good rate for limited? Yeah, it seems pretty good as a 3-mana 1/3 with this ability. It's it doesn't, like, get rid of a threat, but I still think it's kind of nice. Do I like this for not limited? Not really. Like, in not limited, I'm just playing a Chupacabra. A ravenous one. Bilbo's Deadly Slice. It's murder! Well, actually, no, it's legally distinct murder because it's Bilbo's Deadly Slice. It's a 3-mana instant that destroys target creature. You know, like the spell Murder. It's pretty good for limited. It's instant speed removal. There are no planeswalkers in this set, so it kills the threats you need to care about. What if his slice was pizza? You think he served a giant spider deadly pizza and it killed him? Murder! What murder? Crude Bent Blade, a 3-mana artifact equipment. When this equipment enters, target opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. So this is kind of like Tithing Blade, but it costs 1 more, and it's actually a blade you can equip. Equipped creature gets +2/+1, and it costs 2 to equip it. This seems fine. This is a sorcery speed edict that is also an equipment. There are equipment sub-themes in this set. It seems fine. Desolation Prowler. A 2-mana 2/2, where you can pay 2 life to give this +2/+2 until end of turn. You can only activate this once a turn, but this is the kind of threat that is a great way to play aggressively in black. This card is going to overperform. It's the sort of thing that you have to be willing to pay a little bit of life when you know that it's right. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not the kind of thing you would play outside of limited, but like I have absolutely won games off similar effects in limited before. The Black Crack. Down to Goblin Town. They got it on a saga because it's one of the best things from the animated movie. Also, it's like a poem in the book. 3 mana. An uncommon! Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it, and the opponent discards it. Already, this is a banger. I'm playing in limited. All right, amass goblins 1. Great. Then your opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life, and then your opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. You go down, down to goblin down. Oh ho, my lad. Yeah, is this Putrid Leaf? It is Putrid Leech from Alara, I think. Yeah. I like this for limited. It's one of those 3 mana targeted discard effects that, like, they're usually okay, and this one does a little bit more too. A Dreaded Bat Cloud, a cloud of bats. It's a 5 mana 4/2. This spell costs 3 less to cast if a creature died this turn, and it has flying and death touch. If you're casting this for 2 mana, that's pretty awesome. Whether it's because you killed your opponent's creatures or something just died in combat. This is not something I would want to play otherwise. A 5 mana 4/2 flying death touch. Now a 2 mana flying death touch 4/2. That's amazing. So yeah, if you have sacrifice or murdering effects, or honestly you just like swing in pretty recklessly, I like this in the deck. Otherwise, no, it's weird. Front Porch Sentries. I don't think we've even seen First Strikers yet. So, you know what? It will trade into something. I think it's fine. Front Porch Sentries. It's a bunch of goblins. Look at how cute they are. 2 mana 2/2. When this creature dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -1 and -1/-1 until end of turn. We've seen this effect before, like Festering Mummy and stuff, but that one I think might have been a -1/-1 counter. It's fine. It can make for bad and weird trades. It can kill some things that have 1 toughness if you sacrifice it. Is it a amazing card? No, but it's just fine. It's a filler. It's a bear with a thing. It can trade up sometimes though, which is cool. Gathering of Darkness. That's a big army of goblins. Return up to 1 creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and then amass goblins 3. This feels kind of slow. It's kind of like that same enchantment we saw before. The rare one. It's not bad, though. It's essentially, imagine you had a 3/3 creature that brought a creature back to your hand when it entered. Yeah, so I think it's fine. Gnashing of Teeth. And Wolves. A 3 mana sorcery that kills a creature, gives -5/-5, and exiles the thing if it would die. And has the second option of creatures target player controls get -1/-1 until end of turn. I actually think that this is a fantastic piece of removal for this set, even at sorcery speed, because of the recruit tokens. If your opponent is like, I built up like 5 1/1s, and you're like, that's cool, no you didn't, and wipes it out. Oh, somebody's asking, if you have different armies, you can pump whichever one you want. In limited, you're not going to have multiple armies. The only way you would have multiple armies for amass is if you started with like shapeshifters out, like multiple shapeshifters. Otherwise, it just adds onto your existing army. Data mass. I think I described it badly before. Sorry about that. Golem Riddle Master. A 2 mana 3/1 halfling horror, and when it enters, you choose odd or even. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with a mana value of the chosen quality, you chose one that hasn't been chosen. And this is not this turn, this is ever. Put a +1/+1 counter on Golem. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, and draw a card. I think typically in limited, would I choose even or odd? If I'm playing it on turn 2, I'm choosing odd. If I'm playing it on turn 3, I'm choosing even. It's a 2 mana 3/1, but sometimes it'll get you a +1/+1 counter. It'll become a 4/2. Then each opponent will lose 2 life and you gain 2 life, and then you draw a card. Actually, you probably draw a card first. I think this is fine for limited. Like, it's good abilities, but you can only do them once each. The odds are good, but the goods are odd. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yeah, it's a good card for limited. It's aggressive, it has decent abilities, and whatever, it's 2 mana. Yeah, it probably trades up. Or your opponent sacrifices their front porch sentries And you don't have a +1/+1 counter on him and it just dies. Rip. Golem, Silent Slinker, ain't he a stinker? Okay, so we have what, 3 golems in a row? Great. 4 mana, 4/3 with Menace, Meager Meal, a 1 mana sorcery. It's an adventure, puts a counter onto a creature, and target player gains 2 life. Okay, that's fine. It's just like a use of mana. And then it's like an okay Menace. This is like, it's a common, it fills the curve well, it does things all right. I like it. And look, he's got that nice Ridley fish. He is a silent stinker. Aww. He's looking for his ring. Where's his precious? 2 mana, 2/2 uncommon golem, can't block. But when he enters, you exile up to 1 target card for the opponent's graveyard, and each opponent loses 2 life. You can also pay to sacrifice an artifact or creature to return this from your graveyard to your hand. The fact that this can't block really reduces its viability, but it is graveyard hate and it drains on enter. I think if you're playing aggressively, it's a nice card. Also, graveyard hate. We have graveyard stuff. Well, that's just a goddamn bumblebee. I'm sorry, it's a great fierce bee. That's a goddamn bumblebee. A 3 mana 2/2 flyer. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, you scry 1. Not bad. If one were to sting me, I should swell up as big as I am. Oh, as big again as I am. Freaking big bumblebee. Whatever, it's a flyer. You might put 1 in your deck. Look at this thing. Look at this. A great, ugly-looking goblin. Nice, pretty great. 6 mana, 4/4. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has Menace, and that would include your amass, your army. And I actually like the clap, snap, the black track. This is part of Goblin Town. It's a 2 mana sorcery that gets you a 2/2. I like this card because of the fact that it has that adventure. It's essentially make a 2 mana 2/2 or add to your army. 2 mana 2/2 and then it gets Menace when you play it later. Not bad. It curves out nicely. Head of the Hunt. I assume that wargs are creature type wolf. Yeah, this is a warg. A 4 mana 4/3. It has flash. If a creature an opponent controls would die, you exile it instead, and when you do, you get a wolf. Oh my god, it's like that. This like that vampire guy. Man, I ain't seen this forever. Yeah, this is good for limited. I think this is a good card for limited because it's like, hey, your opponent's stuff is dying, you get more stuff. And also the fact that you can like flash this out to block a little thing. Kalitas, that's the guy. Yeah, this is like Kalitas. I like it. I like this for limited. Do I see it seeing play outside of it? Not really. I feel like there's other similar effects that I'd rather be playing. You could flash him out in response to a board wipe. Yeah. To get some dogs. I don't know what board wipes we have in this set, though. Other than Settle the Wreckage. I don't know if there's like another one that's multicolored. Oh my god, Smog, you can't just be looking like this. Look at him. He's like... Hey. Stop serving. Yeah, tell him. Tell him to stop. I like this card a lot, and you're gonna see why. It is an X black sorcery. Exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. You can play those cards this turn! And if you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. I'm saving up like 8 mana and I'm casting this for X equals 6 and I'm gonna kill myself. In Magic the Gathering, not in real life. I love paying life for things. It's really fun. I love playing my opponent's cards. It's really fun. Yeah, it seems like a good time. Seems like a good time to me. How do I feel about it for limited is kind of iffy because you're playing it in the mid to late game. You may not hit that many spells worth playing and you need life to play it. This to me feels like a card you're playing in Commander because you want to get, you know, silly with it. Did I see the first gleaming gold version of Smog the Magnificent got pulled? I didn't. My guess is it must have happened at Gen Con because the set's not even out yet. For anybody who's like wondering, hey, I already saw some of these cards posted on social media before the gallery went live. What was going on? At Gen Con, they were like, hey, you know what? Gen Con's awesome. We have Magic as like a main thing here. We're going to have essentially a pre-release at Gen Con so you can play with the cards early. And I guess you could also buy collector boosters there. I guess. Or happened in a Whatnot stream? Oh, that's different. That's just like, I'm a store owner. I have the product ahead of time, so I'm going to do pack openings. I guess it's kind of like when content creators do it, but lamer. I assume it's going to sell for big money because it's a shiny Smaug. The Master of Lake Town. Some sort of a hoity-toity gold-plated boy. A 3-mana 3/2 with Death Touch. Whenever a player loses life, that player mills that many cards. I can kill myself with inside information and the Master of Lake Town to mill myself. Somebody's saying you can play the lands for free on this. You can play a land. But if you have a land in your hand with inside information, you probably want to play it first to get a bigger X count. Master of Lake Town is a 3-mana 3/2 Death Toucher, so it will trade into things. This is symmetrical, by the way. Like, it's either player losing life causes this. But you might end up drawing. And I assume you could order these two abilities. So let's say your opponent swings at you and you don't quite have 7 cards in the graveyard. You could, I think, make it so like you block with him, he dies, but also you took damage, you mill the cards, and then you draw. Oh no, but it would need something already checking. Somebody's saying, is this Stephen Fry? No, this is the Master of Lake Town. You put it into the Lowen Lee Advisor mill card. Oh, the Avatar characters. Okay, I was like, the what? I think that this is kind of as a rare, but it's not terrible. Night Owl Pursuer is a 1/1 with Menace. Whenever this attacks, if you have a creature with a power 4 or greater, it actually attacks as a 3/3. Not bad as an aggressive 1-drop that could potentially swing for more later. I feel like black has aggro on lock in this set. Rage into the Valley. You draw a card, you lose a life, and you make a 2/2 Garblini. Or, well, you amass goblins, too. That feels nice. This, like, feels on rate. It's kind of like if you made a 2/2, drew a card, lost a life. Yeah, the fact that, like, the white cards are going so wide against the goblins is so unusual. Or, like, it's gonna make for some weird play patterns. If there are ways to give your goblins trample, that will be really big. Right now, we've seen ways to give your goblins menace, but not trample, not lifelink, anything like that. Ravening Warg. 2-mana 2/2 with Death Touch. And if it attacks while control a creature with power 4 or greater, you gain 2 life. Not bad. I think that 2-mana 2/2 Death Touchers, honestly, like, sure, this sometimes will draw you a card when it dies, but this will often functionally do the same thing. It trades into something else, and it costs 2 mana. Feels fine to me. Sometimes it'll even gain you life. Force your opponent to eventually deal with it. And a Reverent Howl. Ow! 3-mana instant. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Oh, a Sign in Blood. Or target creature gets +2/+2 in lifelink until end of turn. A versatile trick. There's one way to give a big goblin army lifelink once. Seems alright. Rovanian Rampager. So many wolves! Oh my god. The wargs are really shining in this set. 3-mana 3/2. It's a rare. Whenever this creature attacks, you can sacrifice another creature. If you do, put a number of +1/+1 encounters on this creature equal to the sacrificed creature's power. And when this creature dies, you make goblins, where Amass Goblin X is, you know, this creature's power. Seems good for limited. It's just lets you munch up your creatures, and when it dies, becomes more creatures. What would stink if your opponent, like, caused this to not have a death trigger or bounced it? The Sackville Bagginses. They're so evil! Lobelia, what are you doing? Or whichever ones there are. These are the relatives. 2 mana, 2/2 halfling citizen. When the Sackville Bagginses enter, you can sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, draw a card, create a treasure token. Whenever you sacrifice a token, your opponent also loses 1 life. Huh. That seems, you know, just fine. They're the evil in-laws. They very much made them looking evil here. Are they evil, or does Bilbo not like them? They are, like, trying to say Bilbo left, because nobody leaves the Shire. Hobbits leaving the Shire is like, who would do that? We live here, we stay here. He left, so we're going to take all the stuff from his house. Yeah, they're not his in-laws, they're just relatives. Yeah, they want his house, they want all his stuff. Willie says, justice for Lobelia, she didn't snitch in Lord of the Rings. Honestly, these are 2 hobbits that would be dead by the time Lord of the Rings happens. Because I think the only reason that Bilbo was able to live so long is because of the ring. Are they cousins? I mean, they got hyphenated names. Dude, Bilbo does have a sweet house. Oh, they were stirring up trouble. Look at this goblin chef! That's me. This right here, this is me. That's just like how I look day to day. Pot on my head, stirring a big old bubbling brew. A 1-mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you either sacrifice an artifact or creature, or you pay 4 mana to destroy target creature. Slow, expensive removal. But if you have, like, tokens to drop, cool. Drop some tokens. Not bad removal, just not great removal either. Stony-voiced goblins. Yep. They're goblins. It's a 2-mana 1/1. When it enters, each opponent discards a card. It's your burglar rat of the set. Play these in limited. If you are trying to fit a discard effect into a goblin deck, this is actually a really nice thing to have, because previously, I don't think we had a goblin with this effect. So, congratulations! We now have a burglar rat goblin. It's a goblin bard. Yeah, because they're singing, I guess. Sort of. Supper for spiders! Yay! Hungry babies. 2-mana instant. Put all into the battlefield under your control. All creatures in your opponent's graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. They are food. They're not creatures anymore. They're just food. I think this card slaps. If I'm running, like, Massacre Girl as my commander, or anything else that's kind of like, I enter, I'm a board wipe, and then I'm following up, boom, Supper for Spiders, baby. You can then, like, do weird things with the food artifacts, but you get all of the abilities of the creatures. They're just not creatures. Yeah, Eager likes this. I like this. How do I feel about it for limited? It feels like a win more card for limited. It's like if I've managed to get multiple things off my opponent's board on one turn. Yeah, I think this is a funny card more than anything else. Yeah, Toxic Deluge into Supper for Spiders, into whatever your spiders were. Yum, yum, yum. And then, another legendary artifact. My precious. A 3-mana equipment. Equipped creature has hexproof and can't be blocked. It costs 2 and 2 life to equip. But that's good protection, and it will force things through. This is a card that will see some play in Commander, even though it's kind of pricey. Because the hexproof and can't be blocked is one hell of a combo. It also has the Allure of Power. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you sacrifice a creature and draw 2 cards. I can think of some decks I would put this in that are all about, like, I want my commander to hit. It's like a Whispersilk Cloak that costs 2 life. Did Whispersilk Cloak also give hexproof or just can't be blocked? Because I have Whispersilk Cloak in plenty of decks. Yeah, that's Shroud on that one. Yeah. The problem with Shroud, when you're trying to, like, load onto a creature that you want to get through, is that once you put Shroud on something, you can't put more equipment or more buffs onto it, whereas with Hexproof you can. I think that the 2 life on this is kind of icky, though. And I think that the 2 mana Village Rites in this is okay. I think that this card is not bad for limited because of Allure of Power. You are not really playing it for my precious, I think, until late game. Yeah, I'm not putting it in every deck, but I'm putting it in a bunch of them. I wish it were Sacrifice a Creature or Artifact, though. We're back, and we're ballin', Lore Master. We're looking at red cards. It's a 5 mana 4/4. It's storied, and whenever Balin or another dwarf you control enters, you may discard your hand, draw X cards, where X is the number of cards discarded this way, and if you have an Enduring Story, he also deals X damage to each opponent. If you have a lot of dwarves, that's kind of fun. Lets you just kind of whip your hand around, deal some damage, but it doesn't ever give you card advantage. I wish it were like, discard your hand and draw X cards, where X is the number of cards discarded plus 1 or something. Yeah, I'm not that into it. Especially when we have such cheaper ways to, like, discard 1 and draw 1 through the recruit. If you dump your hands a few times, your opponent will be dead. That's true. The damage to each opponent is, like, it does add up, but only if you have enough dwarves and enough cards to discard. And I feel like you're in the... Ooh, my mouse can go through the little blue screen part here. Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted. Do you guys see? Whoa. Oh, there goes. Whoa. Yeah, it's cool if you're doing a lot of dwarf stuff. Otherwise, not that into it. Wait. Does he deal X damage even if you don't discard your hand? Yes. Huh. But you have to discard. I'm thinking, like, if there's a way to increase that from 0. Because it's... X is the number of cards discarded this way. No, I haven't seen any weird ways to, like, manipulate X there. Yeah, no, I'm just not that into it. I think it's fine. It's fine you're dwarfing. I kind of wish that it were, like, a little different. Again, I wish it gave you card advantage. That's just my greed speaking. Bomber! Gentle Dreamer. Look at all these beautiful dwarves. Aww, he's sleeping with the chipmunks and the birds. Chipmunks are so cute. 3 mana, 5/3. But he doesn't untap during your untap step unless you have an Enduring Story. I feel like it's not hard to get an Enduring Story. So this is a 3 mana 5/3. He doesn't, like, enter tapped or anything. You probably don't attack with him until you know you can get the story. Yeah, I don't always untap in the morning. Sometimes I stay in bed. I don't sleep in. That was a lie. I'm so bad at sleeping. Probably because of all the coffee. Yeah, I think this is good for limited, though. It's just, like, pure numbers. Bothersome Noisemaker. It's a goblin that was given a tuba. Dr. Seuss looking art over here. 2-mana Goblin Bard. This is another Goblin Bard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, amass Goblins 1. That seems like a really good uncommon. It's part of the Goblin Boy Band. Yeah, we have our husky singing goblins and our big doot doot goblin. It's kind of like the equivalent of a young pyromancer. Yeah, except it's a non-creature. I think that this is going to be a good card for limited because that value off just a non-creature, amass 1, and it's already a 2/2. That seems pretty nice. Yeah. Yes, the goblins doot as they please. The more cheap cantripping spells you have, the better something like this would be. But yeah, I like this for limited. I don't think I would replace the I usually have various trigger on non-creature or on instant and sorcery in my storm decks. And I'm not sure if this would go into any of them. Yeah, he brings all the goblins to the yard. Burn, Tree, and Fern. 4-mana Saga that deals 6 damage to target creature and opponent control. So this is 4-mana sorcery speed removal, but that is very we've seen some removal in the set. It's not that impressive, so this seems fine. Then destroy target artifact and opponent controls, and then add red, and then add red. This feels like a very solid uncommon, good removal for limited. You're gonna sing the songs when they come down at pre-release? Good. Then Ironfoot, a 3-mana 1/4 dwarf warrior, and a rare. When he enters, you create a colorless axe. Oh, we've seen the axes before. It's the +1/+0 equip to. When you do, you attach it to target creature you control. Nice. Okay, cool. So you get a free equip. So this kind of comes in as a 2/4 because it comes in and auto equips the axe. And whenever he attacks, each equipped creature that's attacking gets double strike until end of turn. Yeah, that seems solid. 3-mana 2/4 that attacks with double strike and gives potentially other things double strike. Not amazing, but good enough. Desert Wereworm. Where? I don't... Dune? Yeah, probably Dune. 4-mana 0/5 with +2/+0 for each mountain you control. Whenever you attack with creatures with a total power of 12 or greater for the first time each turn, you untap all attacking creatures and get an additional combat. This freaking slaps, especially if you can pull off mono red. Now in this set, I'm just going to quickly check off to the side how many multicolored cards there are, because again, this is a small set. And I'm not sure what the fixing situation is, but I think you're pretty much always going to be in 2 colors. Okay, so there are actually common dual lands, which makes me think you're going to be in 2 or 3 colors. That said, you only play this if you are in red and something else. Predominantly red. The more red you are, the better this gets. There's some hybrid cards available too. But I don't think, in part because it's a small set, I don't think you go monocolored in this set. I don't even know if it's very possible because of how limited your picks are. There's some good colorless. Yeah, but I'm looking right now. There's some good fixing in the set between lands, between artifacts. I guess, you know what? There's enough things that have hybrid mana. You could technically go mono red because that's the dream. You play this for 6 mana and it has 12 power and you get an extra combat and maybe you have a way to protect it. You make this thing unblockable and the game's over. Yeah, looking good, looking good. But I would say that if you have, 10 red sources in your deck, this thing's pretty nice. You want it to be at least 6 power. But then extra combat, potentially. Would I play this anywhere other than limited? Probably not. I'm thinking there are some mono red cards that have fun on attack and on hit abilities. You could... Okay, yes, this is very cute. You could build a standard meme deck that is a meek attack deck, because this technically has 0 power, and use it with that. And then you fling it. And then you fling it. Desolation of Smog. A 4-mana baby wipe. Deals 3 damage to each non-dragon creature. Because the main Smog has 3 toughness. So you don't want to kill him. It's his fire. Then you add 4 mana in any combination of colors that you can only spend on dragon spells, such as, for example, Smog. I think that this is going to be a card that sees a lot of play in dragons decks. It's also pretty good for limited just because it is a board wipe. We haven't really seen that many of them. And even if you don't have a single dragon, you do not have Smog, even a common one, it does not matter. I think that this card is pretty good. Ooh, yeah. This is great for dragon decks, though. It's like, all right, so I'm gonna, like, wipe out your weenies and also get a full refund on my mana, and boom, here's, I don't know, what, sushi or whatever. Yeah, seems pretty nice to me. Like, big red wants to wipe the board. You love sushi? Me too. Dory, Bearer of Friends. Aww. He's carrying him through the fire and the flame. 3 mana, 3/2. Trample. When Dory enters, you make a treasure token. Okay. Yeah, he's a common. That seems pretty good, though. That's kind of like if he was a 2 mana, 3/2 with Trample, because he gives you a treasure. But we have a bunch of things that care about sacrificing treasures. Or sacrificing artifacts, I should say. Dory's a homie. Let's go, Dory. That seems like a solid uncommon. But remember, it's legendary. Good for stories, bad for the legend rule. Dwarven Mauler. Huh. It's 1 mana, 2/1. Equip abilities that target him cost 2 less. Nice. Seems good. It's a 1 mana, 2/1. CDH Magdass card. I mean, it's... Is this the first 1 mana red dwarf we've ever gotten? I am double checking this. T. Dwarf. I know we have a 1 mana white one. Mana value equals 1. No, it's not the first dwarf. Okay. Because we had Dwarven Armor, Bloodfire Dwarf, Dwarven Grunt, Dwarven Trader. All from, like, Homelands and stuff. We have Fervent Champion at home. Good old Homelands. Yeah, like Homelands and Torment. Odyssey. There's, sorry, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. These are all the 1 mana dwarves. This one being the one that is a 2/1. I've seen this guy before too, but for Magda, it's the 1-drops you care about. But anyway, this seems like it is, for the most part, outside of like maybe Dwarven Grunt, one of the better ones here, since you can attack with it. Oops, you can attack with it, and it's a 2/1. A Fallen Empire Dwarf. Let's go! Let's go! I'm a sucker for 1 mana 2/1s and limited, because I like to hit face. And with Magda, it becomes a 3/1. Yep, with Magda, it becomes a 3/1, and it taps and makes a treasure. Gandalf, Goblin's Bane, has Flame Shape as a spell. Ooh, cool. 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Gandalf gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay, so he has, like, Prowess and Ping. Okay, Prowess, Ping. In Flame Shape, look at the top 2 cards of your library, exile them face down. For as long as they remain exiled, you can play them if you control a wizard. That's going to be annoying to track in paper, but it makes sense. You play the Flame Shape, then you play Gandalf, and then you can play the cards that you had in exile. He's Timu Vivi. This is very much Timu Vivi. I think that the Flame Shape is definitely, like, nice for limited because it, like, you enable it with the Gandalf. But there's not that many wizards in the set. Which means that if somebody kills this Gandalf, like, you're probably not going to be able to use those cards, right? I'm just double checking right now. Set, Hobbit, T, Wizard. Yeah, these are all the wizards. We have this one that's mythic rare. Gandalf Spark Starter. That's the thing from before. Gandalf Wandering Wizard. And Radagast of Rosgabel. Those are the only wizards in the set. So really, it's probably just him. Maybe you have a Spark Starter. Still, like, not a bad card for Limited. Do I like it outside of Limited? I don't think it's good enough for outside of Limited. You know what? It goes in a Kuja deck. I'll put this in a Kuja deck. Because it's a Wizards deck. Maybe a Nala. Nah. Probably not a Nala. Maybe a Nala. No, it's Legendary, not a Nala. It just goes in Kuja. Yeah. Because it doubles the ping ability. Yeah, you're finalizing your fantasies with Gandalf the Red? Question mark, question mark, question mark? Dude, yeah, you put your Wizzy staff in there. Gandalf Spark Starter. He's got a little bit of soup and a little bit of boop. 6 mana, 4/3 with reach. When Gandalf enters, he deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. This feels actually like a very solid card for Limited. Because 6 mana, 4/3 with reach, terrible stats. That enter the battlefield, though, will make a huge difference. You kill a flyer, maybe deal an extra to the face. Your opponent's at 3 and you just haven't been able to get damage through. You get the damage through. I think the Gandalf Spark Starter is the kind of uncommon that, like, having it at your top end is really nice. This one can kill up to 3 goblins. So he must be Goblin's Bane. I don't know what to say to you, man. I don't think Gandalf wants to be killing goblins. I think he wants to start fires. Getaway Barrel. 4 mana. Artifact. When this artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, reveal the top 13 cards of your library. 13? I guess 1 for each dwarf and then Bilbo. Put a random creature card from among them onto the battlefield, the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. My god, you have to put this into the graveyard from the battlefield? This is horrible. I don't care if you have ways to sacrifice artifacts. Dude, it's random. Put a random creature from among them. That's a rare? You think this is terrible? This is going to function better in Limited than you think it will. Like, trust me on this. This kind of card functions better than you think it will. You don't play it outside of Limited. That's not what it's here for. Yeah, this might be the worst card we've seen in the set. Glowin the Mighty. Another dwarf for my collection. Easy Pickings is a 3-mana sorcery. Deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control. Nice. Picks off their recruit tokens. And then 4 mana for a 4/3. At the beginning of your first main phase, it gets you 2 mana. This seems like a great uncommon to have because it ramps you. It kills little dudes, and only your opponent's little dudes. I think Glowing the Mighty is a mighty fine uncommon for the set. You think this is going to get a glowing review? Goblin Town Flunkies. Aww. So many cute Garblinis. 2 mana, 1/1 with haste. When it enters, amass goblins 1. You get 2 bodies for 2 mana? Count me in. Especially if we have some, like, good sacrifice stuff. Yeah, I think this is fine. Gunda Bad Opportunist. Are you a Gunda Good card? 4 mana, 4/2. When it enters, you get an Impulse Draw until the end of your next turn. You exile top card of your library, and you can play that card. That's fine. It's a curve filler, and it gives you card advantage. Iron Hills Stalwart. He's fighting a big bat. It's 5 mana, 4/5. Reach and trample. When it enters, you can put equipment you control onto a creature you control. Not terrible, very much a common. Feels like the sort of thing you have, like, 1 of. I don't know if there's, like, a big artifact, like a big equipment that has a high cost, that this is one of the ways to cheat it on. If there's like a Colossus hammer in this set kind of thing. We'll find out. Yeah, top end filler. Last Light of Durin's Day. A 2-mana enchantment. Whenever a mountain you control enters. So this is the second Mountain Matters card we've seen. You put a quest counter onto this enchantment. If it has 6 or more quest counters, you sacrifice it, and if you do, you search your hand or library for a dragon card and put it onto the battlefield. This also has mountain cycling too. It can get even non-basic mountains for like EDH things. I'm not sure where you would put this. This is definitely not a card you put in limited. Because getting 6 mountains after 2 mana. Yeah, this is too many quest counters, too many people entering Rousing Smog. The flavor is very cool here. But I'm trying to think if there's many, like, Red and X Dragon commanders that care about lands. There's one, but it doesn't care about mountains, and I think that 6 mountains is a lot for it. That worm from before is a dragon. It doesn't matter. I think that this is... Even, like, if you were somehow to pull off a mono-red draft deck and, like, have a dragon, I don't like this. It's also a rare. So I would say, skip it. Maybe there's, like, a very slow, expensive way to tutor a dragon into play. Because remember, it's only Mountainfall. It's not Landfall. There is a flickering lands mechanic on multiple cards, but they're not that good. Yes, there's the blue card can like flicker one of your lands. Yeah, you put it in a Blood Moon deck. There you go. Misty Mountains Cold. 3 mana, create a treasure token. Then, if you control 4 or more treasures, you sacrifice this saga. And if you do, create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. So this is you making a dragon. Because it's chapter 1, make a treasure. Chapter 2, treasure. At the 4th one, you have 4, and you get a dragon. Though I guess if you needed to spend one, you could have treasures from other sources. Yet it seems good for limited, just because it's like, for 4 turns, get a treasure, and also if you manage to survive long enough, you get Big Dragon. It might be a little, like, weird, though. If you have other ways to make treasures first, you can get the dragon earlier. It is definitely slow, but I think it's cool. It's another one of the songs. Oh, somebody says they're here from TikTok. I don't have a TikTok, so, I'm currently working on starting one, but if you got messaged by me on, like, Discord or TikTok, it is unfortunately probably a scammer or a spammer. Yeah. So please report the account that messaged you, and I appreciate you checking in. Yeah, I tried reporting it to TikTok, but they don't care, so... Boo. Yeah, don't install anything they send you, and don't send them any money. I wish, like... Discord also does not care about these scammers. It really sucks. Was there a goblin that made treasures? Was there? I remember there was a dwarf that entered and made a treasure. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, I would probably try this in some limited decks and see if it's too slow. Misty Mountains Raider. A goblin soldier, a 5-mana 4/4. Whenever you attack, don't have to attack with this. Mass goblin suit. This is nice with like those cheap death touchers too. A little slow, but kind of nice. I wish that it was like a 4/4 with like vigilance or something. I wish it had like one other text or something. Owen the Brave. A 2-mana 1/3, it's storied, and if you have an enduring story, Owen gets +1/+0 and has haste. And it is a looter! Loot. As long as you have an enduring story, Owen gets +1/+0 and has haste. That's cute. It's not that impressive, but it's also a common. Maybe you run one of them as filler. Cheap dwarf. Yeah, you know what? You need a cheap dwarf for dwarf synergy. Here's your cheap legendary dwarf for your stories. Why is Glowin so much better than Owen? Brotherly rivalry. I assume they're brothers. I don't remember which of the dwarves are like cousins or brothers. Some of them are some of them. Because Glowin is Gimli's dad. That could do it. Pinecone Strike. This is where they throw flaming pine cones at the wargs from the tree. It is crazy that this scene has like 3 different cards so far. Come, let us choose to either deal 3 damage to target creature, and if it would die, and exile instead, or destroy target artifact token. Only artifact token. So this is it's one or both. So what's kind of nice about this is like this set's cheap creature removal for red, and sometimes it gets to destroy a treasure. It's a weird abrade. Well, it's one or both, which is cool. I would still run this absolutely though, because it's a 2-mana deal 3 to a creature, and that's all you need a lot of the time. Oh yeah, or an axe token. You could use this to destroy an axe token. You could also destroy food. Well, the dwarves do destroy food. A Ragged Short Spear, a 2-mana artifact equipment. When this equipment enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Equip 3. That's a nice like thrill of possibility or tormenting voice effect that it's also on a sword. It's a very expensive equip, but we have some free equips. I don't think that's bad. And you can also just like sacrifice it later. Yeah, it seems fine for limited. Thrill of Stabability. The Thrill of Stabability. Smaug, the Great Calamity. It is a 7-mana legendary common. It is a 5/5. Whatever. And as an expensive removal spell as an adventure. But you know what? I think a 5-mana sorcery, 5 damage is still probably going to do some work in this set. I might run one of these as my top end, or if I really need removal. Also, like, eventually, maybe dragon. Rawr. Oh! This is the mythic rare Smaug. If you have seen all of the, like, fancy Smaug arts with the pretty glitters and stuff, it's this card. This is, like, the card that they made the face of the set. 4 mana, 4/3. It has flying, it has haste. Whenever he attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of treasures you control to any target. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you create a treasure. This is a very good card for limited. Does it die to a pine cone? Yeah, it dies to a pine cone. But if you get it to live for even like a turn, I mean, you're dealing damage in the air. You're doing a lot. It's a good card. It's a good card. It's going to go in a lot of dragons decks. It's going to go in some treasures decks. Yeah. Yes, the fake TikTok that is not me is Amazonian_TTV. When you report it, it will say you have to put in another like account for it to be valid. I think I tried to make just this currently has nothing on it, but if you're like, hey, this is who this is impersonating, you can put in like Amy the Amazonian. Sorry to put this in the middle of the set review, but this is like the 3rd time somebody has come in and being like, hey, thanks for the DM on TikTok. And I'm like, oh, it's not me. I also get the same thing with like the Discord stuff. Yeah. So this is the real one, and Amazonian TTV. This is the fake one. It's just stolen a couple clips and then like scams people. Yes, I understand. Mine does not look official yet. I have not populated it with anything. I'm working on it. I had it as a to-do this week. I just haven't had time. Yeah, you know, it's good. It's a PSA. It's a PSA. That Smog the Dragon is good, and TikTok is bad. Smog's Fury! It's the exact same spell that's been in other sets, but with a new name. +3, +0, first strike, and reach. Yeah, this was in Edge of Eternities, I think, with a different name. It's not a bad combat trick, especially because the reach can sometimes get you an extra hit. But it's also like, you know, it's a combat trick. It's vulnerable, but it can work really well. Snowslope Hunter, a Goblin Ranger, 2 mana, 2/3, sacrifice another creature or artifact, exile the top card of your library. You can play it until the end of your next turn. You can only activate this during your turn, and only once a turn. Nice. So this lets you kind of like turn your other stuff into card advantage. I like that. I like that as a uncommon. Stone Giant of the High Path. Yeah, it's until the end of the next turn, which is nice. It's not just this turn. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you make a 3/1 wall artifact creature token with Defender, named Stone Boulder. You can sacrifice an artifact to deal 4 damage to any target. You have to spend 3 mana for it. This feels like it's a big splashy card you put at the top end of your deck. And it's pretty good. Like, I don't know. I think this is good. The only thing I wish this had is reach. Let it block a dragon or something. He's got a rock. Well, he could kill a dragon by throwing a rock at it. There's like 1 eagle, I think, that survives this. Yeah, this feels like it's going to be a good card for limited. Thorin, the Mountain King. Did he get a cool card? I feel like they showed this card before and I forgot what it does. 4 mana, 3/4 with Trample. When Thorin enters, you attach any number of equipment you control to target creature you control. It does not need to be him. Whenever 1 or more equipment becomes attached to that creature deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature. If you have equipment in your deck, this is okay. But this only triggers on enter. No, it does not trigger each time you equip. It's just from its enter the battlefield. This is, you know what, this card is fine if you have any other equipment, even if it's a token. Because it's like, let's say you put the axe token on him, then he's like dealing 4 damage to a creature. Yeah, I feel like this does not feel like a mythic to me. This feels more like a rare. I wish it could hit face. So yeah, it's okay. Basilisk Collar Laser Beam? I don't know. I feel like even if you put a Basilisk Collar, congrats, you've used a 4 mana mythic to kill 1 thing and you needed the equipment. Like that is not bad. I'm just saying, I want it to be better. Let it hit Planeswalkers. Let it hit face. Tidings of War! By the way, they never mention Planeswalkers in Universes Beyond sets, outside of like the D&D one, which sucks because it means that there's a lot of cool abilities that should also be able to kill Planeswalkers and can't. I wish it said like non-player target or something, but it doesn't. Tidings of War! Amass Goblins 1. This is 1 mana sorcery, and if the spell was cast from a graveyard, you amass Goblins 3. Flashback is 4 mana. Yeah, that seems fine. Especially if you have like caring about casting non-creatures or caring about goblins. So 1 mana, 1/1, later it turns it into a 4/4 because you spend 4 more mana on it. Not bad. Not bad. And that's the end of the red spells. We got 1 more monocolor left. And it's the green one. Atacop. It's a spider. Attaboy, what are you doing? You're doing a 2 mana, 2/1, reach, death touch. Landfall, +1/+1 until end of turn. Weird. I mean, it has reach and death touch, so I like it because it trades with pretty much anything. It dies to that goblin that gives -1/-1 when it dies, unless a land has entered this turn. Yeah, I feel like this is just a nice 2-drop to have. Not bad. Is this the first ever spider that had landfall? That's a question that I don't know the answer to. T, spider, oracle text, landfall. Per Scryfall, this is the only one. Yes, this is the first landfall spider. A bejeweled warg. Oh, look at that bling he's got from eating guys who had bling. A 2-mana 3/2 with trample. No wonder it's a rare, because it also has, whenever this deals combat damage to a player, you put a +1/+1 counter on target wolf you control, or make a treasure. I like this in like mono green beatdowns. And you know what's so sad? This probably is not going to see any play outside of maybe a wolves deck. Like, that's it. Like, there's like some wolf and werewolf stuff. And this is like a good, well-statted card for like Tovalar. But this, it sucks to me that a 2-mana 3/2 with trample that makes a treasure on hit or gets bigger on hit is probably unplayable in standard. Yeah, too bad, because it's a cool card. It's going to be good and limited, though. Like, sometimes it will just trade into something else, but sometimes this card will come out on turn 2. Your opponent won't have any good blockers, and it will snowball. Yeah, it can hang out with Voya, and Voya's like, wolf ramp instead of elf ramp? Ah, woo. It's not even that it dies to too much, it's that it's like, it's not outpacing the current threats we have. Yeah, I think that if this were in, like, Innistrad Midnight Hunt, there could have been, like, a fun deck running it. Yeah, the trample with the trick is good. I think this is a good card for limited. I wish it were good enough for constructed. Bjorn, Reluctant Host. This is the common Bjorn. He tills and tends. You can play an additional land this turn. He goes on an adventure and helps you ramp. And he is a 5-mana 5/5 with trample. It's curve filler, but it's cute that it has that little ramp ability. I'm telling you that wolf ain't gonna outpace a turn 4 Crater Hoof. Nope. Sorry. Standard's crazy right now, man. Badger Mole Cubs, am I right? Listen, you know what? If they ban Badger Mole Cub, green probably isn't as good. But maybe somebody could play the warg. Bjorn the Fierce. Oh, this is him in dude mode. This is him in bear mode. 5-mana 6/6 trample. Other bears you control get +2/+2. Well, Eula, eat your heart out. I think I just found you a new husband. Kudo, step aside. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put a trample counter onto up to 1 creature you control. It becomes a bear, meaning it also gets +2/+2. And if you control 3 or more bears, you draw 2 cards. I like it. Yeah, Bear Force 1 just got a lot beefier. I think that Bjorn the Fierce is... like, it is a good card in limited because it's just like a high-statted creature that fuels its own abilities. It doesn't even need to attack. It's just at the beginning of combat on your turn, and it gives trample too. This is just like a generically beefy card. This is going to win so many games. It's only 5 mana. Sheesh. Do you think there's going to be a lot of Halsin proxies of this card? Oh, from a Baldur's Gate? Yeah. Halsin, like, didn't get a card in Arena. Did he even get a card in Paper? I don't even know. Yeah, we could turn people into dinosaurs, or we could turn people into bears. I will probably build this as just an updated Eula deck, and it'll be exactly as stupid. Oh, Halsin did have a card. Emerald Archdruid. Nice. You wish there was video evidence of Graham Stark's face when he saw this card? I should ask Kathleen, be like, Kathleen, were you there when Graham saw this card? Did he go shrieking into the room like, Kathleen, you have to see this. He's the guy who, like, plays Bear Force 1 very notably as a commander deck. Oh, he opened it in a pre-release? Let's go! Dude, I bet he had so much fun. I didn't get to see that part of the pre-release. Bjorn's hospitality. Aww, he's so kind, letting Bilbo eat a snack. 2 mana enchantment. Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. This card seems awful. Ride the Shoe Puff. 7 mana, this enchantment becomes a bear, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. Yep, we ride the Shoe Puff. It's not a bad card for limited. I would say that this kind of landfall effect, even just like chilling without a lot of land-based ramp, like it's fine. And late game gives you a big creature. Yeah, we ride the bear puff. We're shoe puffing everywhere, my friends. Yeah, good card for limited. Probably will be like some people will play ride the shoe puff in their scales landfall decks, and some people will play this. Bowside Wanderers. Couple of elves making merry, drinking that elf wine. It's a 4 mana. Nope, 6 mana. 4/4 Elf Scout. When it enters, you'll get the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal a permanent from among them and put it in hand. And landfall gives it +2/+2. So it's a very like high-cost creature. Does give you some card advantage. You're pretty much guaranteed to hit a permanent and 4 cards in limited, but it might just be a land. That said, man, I get that it's a common, but I wish I had like Vigilance or something. Am I gonna play this? Maybe. I like cantripping cards. Cantankerous Keepers. They're arguing about their their capture. Their prisoners. 6 mana, 4/3, Elf Soldier with affinity for elves. When this creature enters, you mill 4 cards and put all elf cards from among them into your hand. Interesting. Will I put this in an elf ball deck? Yeah, this feels like card advantage for elf ball. How do I feel about it for limited? I don't like it. We do have an okay number of elves in this limited, but I don't think we have enough for the mill to be an upside. Yeah, I feel like this is like an EDH card, and that's fine. That's where it goes. Just don't play it in limited. Dancing from Dark to Dawn. Hey, did you ever want to have a card that just shows a bunch of bears dancing? Well, we have Bearscape from the Pride Secret Lair, and now we have this! 5 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is that spell's mana value, and landfall, make a bear. This is a good card for limited. It is just giving you good stuff when things happen. It is a little on the slow side, but that's fine. These big enchantments tend to be. It's a 5 mana spell that's like, it's going to continuously make you blockers on landfall. And if you're casting creature spells, which if you are in green, most of your threats will be creatures, you're making those bears or other things bigger. Yeah, seems fine enough to me. The flavor of this, I guess, is the quote from The Hobbit. There must have been a regular bears' meeting outside here last night. It's just implied that there were bears dancing. The bears. Yeah, they put a landfall in a lot of sets recently. Down in the Valio. 3 mana, search your library for a basic land card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. This is a rare saga. This saga gains landfall whenever a land enters. Make an elf token. And then elves you control get +1/+0 and vigilance for 2 turns. The elves, by the way, they don't like tap for mana or anything. They're just elves. This feels okay for limited, and I don't think good enough for anywhere else. Does it give you 1 elf token? Okay, so you play it on turn 3. Turn 4, it gains the ability, you play a land, you get an elf. Turn after, you play a land, you get an elf. Turn after, it doesn't matter if you played a land, it gets sacrificed before you have an opportunity to get a land, so you get 2 elves. That's why I feel like it's fine for limited and nowhere really else. Have there been any mana dorks yet? No, but we're going to see one very soon. Galleon, Elven King's Butler. Oh my god, he looks so merry. 4 mana, 4/4. Whenever he attacks, choose up to one other target creature you control, and it gets a base power and toughness equal to Galleon's power and toughness until end of turn. Oh, cool. So you put your buffs on this guy, and then he's like, hey, you're coming with me. It's fine. It's a 4 mana, 4/4. Gigantic Big Bear. So many bears in this set. 7 mana. This spell can't be countered. It has hexproof, and it has haste. It's a 10/7. Man, remember when Carnage Tyrant was good? He does not have trample. No, he has hexproof and haste. Yeah, I'd play this in limited. It's got hexproof and haste. I mean, yeah, it trades into like a Death Toucher. Whatever. Nobody's getting rid of it otherwise. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't play it anywhere else. It's just like, it's a big dumb bear. Ties to an Adalob. Guardians of the Hall. So this is a 2 mana 2/2 with an activated ability. 7 mana to put 3 counters on this creature. Very expensive ability. That is just a late game mana sink. That said, that could actually be worthwhile. And it has trample. If a game goes long, this is the kind of card you do want to have. Why does it not have trample? I don't know. 3 mana 3/2 with flash. When this creature enters, you untap another creature you control, and if that creature was a bear, you get a counter on it. This is actually a really good card for limited. These, like, flash creatures are typically pretty nice. They're essentially combat tricks. But the fact that this one untaps another creature, so they both are able to defend, is pretty good. This little bear is notably also bigger than most other creatures, being a 3/2. Yeah, support for our bear type deck. Mirkwood Pathmaker. Mirkwood Pathmaker's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. So this is a 3 mana Marrow. It's fine. It'll scale as the game goes on, and it will be an annoying threat. I'd run one in a deck. Even the littlest bears joined in the important bear meetings and moonlit dances. Okay, I do not remember dancing bears in The Hobbit. Again, I had it read to me when I was a child. Were there dancing bears in The Hobbit? Did I miss this? Was it in one of the songs or something? Also, it's an elf. It is an elf. No, not that you can recall. It was inferred. There was one sentence. Okay, so I'm happy that it's not just me that's like, where the hell are all the bears coming from? Like, other than Bjorn. The one line, they danced from dark to dawn. That's it? Okay. They made one sentence into like 6 cards. Good to know. We also have a nasty little rabbit. Bjorn's fences kept out goblins and unwanted intruders, but not hungry rabbits. This is perhaps the cutest card in the set. It's this or maybe the ponies that we'll see at the end. It's a ferocious rabbit. A 1 mana 1/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, this gets a +1/+1 counter. This thing will grow. It seems like a good 1-drop. I'll put in my deck and it will scale. Turning one sentence into 6 cards is some very Tolkien stuff. Yeah, I mean, man likes a textbook. Remember how I said we were going to see a mana dork? I would say this is the big rare mana dork of the set. This is a 5 mana 1/1. Okay. When the Notary Hobbits enter, if it's not a token, you make 2 tokens that are copies of them, except they are not legendary. Each of them makes colorless mana for each halfling you control. So, for 5 mana, you get 3 1/1s that each will, at the base, tap for 3 mana because there are 3 of them. So it's 5 mana to get next turn, hopefully 9 mana. Big ramp. Do I know if it will see any play? I mean, mono green Eldrazi, there's better ramp and there's worse ramp. Not everybody's Raphellos, but I could see it going places. Yeah, it only taps for colorless, which is why you use it to play Eldrazi. How do I feel about it for limited? I actually, like, I think that this card is okay for limited, not because of the ramp, but just because it's like, eh, man, whatever. I get 3 different bodies. That's 3 different chump blocks, and maybe they'll ramp a little. Yeah, I like it. I don't think it's, like, the craziest thing, but I think it's fine. A lot of the Hobbit cards are held in the book. Yeah, very little of the Hobbit takes place in the Shire. If they live, you could free roll a portal to Phyrexia. Perfect! Good for that 10-7 bear or your old fat spiders who can't see you. 6 mana, 6/7. Reach. This creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability your opponent controls, you draw a card. This is one heck of a card for limited. This is the kind of card, it's like, was it Cactarantula? I'm gonna say it's like Cactarantula, from Thunder Junction. These shape the meta. It's a fine spider. It's a thick spider. Old Tom Naughty can't spy me. This is a good card. I think that if you have a couple of these in your deck, it's gonna body so many other threats. And because it has that can't be blocked by power 2 or less, this is gonna be like one of the top uncommons. And if your opponent goes to remove it, you get card draw. Can't wait to auto-win draft with an old fat spider. Same, real. An ordinary bear! It's just a bear. You'd think it would be a 2-mana 2/2. Actually, it's a 4-mana 4/5. And it's a goddamn vanilla! Guys, when's the last time we had a vanilla? There it is. It's a bear. There's the line. I should say there were little bears, large bears, ordinary bears, and gigantic big bears all dancing outside from dusk to nearly dawn. That is the implied bears that somebody said was in The Hobbit. They turned that one line into this. I don't know. I thought that was like just Gandalf kind of like making jest that like there's a big mess out here. Not literally there are bears dancing. Yeah, like he's storytelling. He's like, oh, there was like a big ruckus outside. Oh, it was like there were bears dancing. They also made the worm based on a saying Bilbo had said. Weird. Yeah. The Hobbit is, by the way, this set was supposed to be, I think, an Aftermath set, and that's why it's a small set. Heart and friendship. Aww. The men are cuddling. 5 mana enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. If its mana value is less than or equal to the number of lands you control, you put it into the battlefield. Otherwise, it goes into your hand. Only triggers once a turn. Yeah, chains down. I think this effect is okay and limited, but I'm not sure how I feel about it at 5 mana. I think I will try it, and I think it will be good sometimes. Somebody's asking, have there been a riddle card? Yes, there is a riddle card that's like a fact or fiction. It's in blue. Quarrel. Is this a fight? Yes, it is. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. That's a bite. Sure. Okay. There's a bunch of Death Touchers in this set. This is good. This is instant speed removal and green. So you play cards like this. They are interruptible. Radagast of Rosgabel. I mentioned that this is one of the few wizards in the set. This art is so good. Oh my gosh, look at him. 4 mana, 2/5. The first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast and can be casted with that flash. That's a great card for limited because you get a discount on your turn and you get a discount on your opponent's turn and you're flashing out your creatures. Not bad, not bad. That's a good, fine wizard we have right there. How do I feel about it outside of limited? It's fine. Like, it helps you cast your stuff for less. It's a card that will be good in some decks, but would I make room for it? Very, very, like, occasionally. Yeah, kind of like Sarah Farron, except Sarah Farron also turns into a big anthem. This one's a 2/5 blocker instead. You're gonna build this as a brawl deck? Yeah, just like green cards that are good. Creatures. Through the forest gate. Oh, there's a cat in here. Scraps, do you like the Hobbit? Oh, she's probably so toasty. It's really warm in my apartment right now. Yeah, it's 85. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Do you need me to turn the AC on? She's so fluffy. She's not built for this. She just whined a little. Oh. Okay. Once I'm done with the set review, I'll turn the AC on for my big puffly buffler. Through the Forest Gate. This is an 8-mana sorcery. Look at the top 20 cards of your library. That's your entire deck by this time in Limited. Put any number of land cards from among them into the battlefield. Tapped and shuffle, you gain 8 life. This is nothing. Yeah, if I put ice cubes into a water dish, Scraps will not drink it. He's so funny. This card is funny with landfall. It is. It's also 8 mana. Yes, thank you, Scraps. Thank you, Scraps. Yes. Meow, you're so cute. Somebody is saying that this got played in the pre-release and it was bad. Yeah. I'm not feeling it. Thank you, Scraps. Troll negotiations. This is what chat does whenever they're like, Amy, if you do this for us, we'll behave. Sure you will. Troll negotiations. It is a 4-mana sorcery. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature you control. And then it fights a creature an opponent controls. I don't like that this is 4 mana and a sorcery speed fight. Not even a bite, a fight. No. And it's an uncommon? No, I don't like it. Like, occasionally it will be good, and I'll probably put it into some green decks, but man, at 4 mana, I want it to do a little more. Cat would never behave. Not like Scraps, who is very well behaved. Isn't that right? Oh my god, look at that face. She's like, I'm behaving. She's behaving so she can get 1 kibble. You want another? 1 kibble. So cute. Warg Tactics. You either destroy a creature with flying, this is a plummet, or you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, gains trample and hexproof until end of turn. I like this. So plummet is occasionally a card that you want in your deck. It's the sort of thing you sideboard in on best of 3. But the fact that it is either kill a flyer or this honestly very good trick that's both protective and offensive, I think this card is really nice for limited, and I would run 1, possibly even 2 of these in a deck. Baby. Oh, she looked up. She's like, me? No, not you, honey. It's a wargling. Whenever this creature attacks, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, all of your creatures get +1/+0 and trample. That's a kind of nice mini Anthem overrun effect on a 2-drop. Yeah, I like that. I think that that's good if you're like trying to be beat downy. And we have a lot of cards in this set that I feel don't have trample and really want trample, and this is a way to give it. Wildland Scrouger, another wolf, 5 mana, 3/6. When it attacks, if you have a creature of power 4 or greater, and by the way, if you make this into a creature power 4 or greater, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. I think that's pretty nice. It will scale up over time. It's not that fast, but I think it's good enough. It does not say another, because it's ferocious. Wood elves. It's wood elves. It's a 3-mana 1/1. Search your library for a forest, put it into the battlefield, and shuffle. Notably, the forest comes in untapped. Okay? It does not need to be a basic forest. Okay? It's gonna see play in Brawl. It's wood elves. Yeah, it's still wood elves. It's new to Brawl. Boop. Woodland Weave Master. This dude is making the finest wigs in all of Elftopia. A 2-mana vigilance creature. Whenever another elf you control enters, gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Taps to add X mana of any one color, or X is this creature's power. But you can only use it for elf spells and elf abilities. No, elf sources. Okay, I don't like this. It is crazy to me that this set so far does not have like a common or uncommon mana dork. It has very little ramp, it feels. So, yeah, I don't feel there's like enough of a glut of elves that I like this. Will it be okay in some limited decks? Yeah. But I don't know. I don't like elf type when elves are not that big of the set. And that's the last of the monocolored cards. Now we got the fun stuff to look at. Okay, I feel like I didn't mention, I do think that this card is pretty good for if you're building like an elf EDH. Or maybe even like a standard elves deck. I just don't like it for this limited. Right. Bard. Who is not a bard. He's an archer. 6 mana. 3/5. A mythic rare. With reach. And with vigilance. This is the guy who shoots down Smog. He's got his big old bow. If you would draw a card, except the first one, you would draw it in each of your first draw steps. You get 2 cards instead. That means your brainstorms would draw like 6, then you put 2 back. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. I think that this is a very nice card because it's doing what white wants to do, more tokens, and what blue wants to do, more card draw. I think it's decent enough and limited since we have tokens, we have card draw, and if you recruit with this, you draw 2, discard 1, and you can make 2 tokens. He is like so good if you're playing with recruit. You want it for a council of 4? Yeah, it works pretty nicely. It is 6 mana, but I think that it's worth 6 mana. And like reach and vigilance means this baddie, you can block. Put some counters on him. Bard the Bowman. Same guy. Before, after. 3 mana, 1/3 with reach. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and give it lifelink until end of turn. Itchy nose. I guess that's also good with recruit or any other, like, looting, second draws. The lifelink here is pretty nice, too. You can do that as a combat trick if you have an instant speed way to draw a second card. Or even draw on your opponent's turn, draw 2. They got better bows than the elves do. The elves are busy drinking. At 3 mana, this is a card that like you need ways to trigger it, but I do think it's good if you have that. Bard's Company. 4 mana, a 2/3. You can cast a spell as if it had flash if you control another human. Recruit tokens notably are humans. And other creatures you control get +1/+1. This is rare for a reason. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you recruit. Ooh, this is going to be a good card for limited. Sometimes it comes out at instant speed. It gets you more creatures and it buffs the creatures. It's a self-fueling engine. I think that that's powerful. Eagle's Rescue. The Eagles always saving these ding-dang hobbits. A 4 mana enchantment aura. It gives +2/+2 in flying. You pay 4 mana to return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to a creature, but only a creature with power 1 or less. Activate as a sorcery. Weird. I think this card is in the middle. It is both a good card and a bad card. The reusability on it is nice. A 4-mana aura is tough. And it is funny to me that it's like, only put it onto one power creatures, which is a few creatures and the recruit tokens. If your opponent has good removal, they can blow this out though. And like, yeah, you can bring it back, but that's 4 mana and later. But I still think that like, it's going to be nice. Giving things flying, even if it's kind of slow and expensive, is pretty good. Yeah, it'll win a game or two. Patient Instructor. A nice fisherman with vigilance. And when it enters, you recruit. So this is like a 3-mana 2/2 with vigilance. It gets you a little card selection. It might come with a 1/1. Not bad. Works with that draw 2 archetype. Works with the human stuff. Not bad. Bolg of the North. 5 mana. 5/5. A goblin soldier. When Bolg enters, you may sacrifice another creature, and when you do, he deals damage equal to that creature's power to another target creature. So it lets you fling at a creature. And if excess damage was dealt this way, you get a refund by amassing goblins X. Where X is the excess damage. That's kind of fun. It feels kind of like a filler, but it's a cute filler. And I feel like, I don't know if anybody else gets this vibe. There's not that much removal in this set. Like, it's just not. This feels like it's creatures. Bolg's Company. A 2-mana 2/2. Has haste if you have another goblin. Lets you sacrifice a goblin to add 2, but you have to tap for it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel like tap and sacrifice, specifically another goblin for 2 mana. I want it to at least be able to sacrifice itself. Let it skirk Prospector. Yeah, it feels like it's for a combo deck, but you have to have like a funky way to like loop 2 things. I don't like it really for limited or constructed. Fearsome Goblin Pair. A little goblin on a big goblin. 3 mana 1/1. That's the little goblin. When this creature dies, amass goblins 4. That's the big goblin. Okay. It's like you want it to die. I think it's alright. You think they're in love? I don't actually think goblins can feel love. I actually think that might be a thing in Lord of the Rings, that the goblins and the orcs cannot feel love and create beauty. There's like something, there's something about that I remember. And everybody's like so sad. Listen. The goblins are creatures of evil. It's just how they are. They can feel excitement in killing. Love for violence. You think the goblin word for love is probably the same as the word for tolerate? Goblin Plate Mail. A 2-mana artifact equipment. When this equipment enters, you amass goblins 1. Then, attach this equipment to the amassed army. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 mana. So this is a 2-mana 2/1 goblin. Oh man, and if you put that on a big army, I think this is pretty good. I think this is a pretty good equipment. Oh, apparently orcs, yes. Goblins, no. Yeah, but like, just because the goblins reproduce doesn't mean they feel love. Just means that it takes 2 goblins to make another goblin. Yeah, I think this is a solid card. The Great Goblin. A 3-mana 3/2. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a goblin, an orc, or an army, so like for amassing, it deals 2 damage to each opponent, and whenever another goblin, orc, or army you control dies, exile the top card of your library. You can play it until the end of your next turn. I think in green-black, there's enough incidental orcs, specifically like amass, that this card is pretty nice if you're in those colors. Smog, Wicked Worm. This is rare Smog. So mythic rare and mythic rare and common were in red, and then we have a rare one here. Wicked Worm is a 5-mana 5/5. When he enters, you make X tapped treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts your opponents control. So it's like half of a dock side, but the treasures are tacked, and it's 5 mana. But whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, you draw a card, lose a life. I actually think that this card is fine for limited, but that's just because it's a 5-mana 5/5 flyer. Sometimes your opponent might have things, sometimes you might get some treasures. But really, I think most of the power of this card is potentially some draw, and also, it's a big frickin' bird. Is it a good commander? Okay, you're gonna hate that I'm gonna say this. It's good and prosper. I don't actually think it's that good for like a commander card, because it's competing with things like Corvold that are like, whenever you straight up just sacrifice a treasure, you draw a card. And you don't lose life. You actually get a bigger dragon. Zorn value up. Yeah, I think that it's fine in like the 99 of some treasures related decks, but it's like, unless your opponents have loads of things to make you the treasures, like that's where a lot of the value comes from. But because they're tapped, it's a lot worse. The Chief Warg, Big Doggy, is a 4-mana 3/3 with Menace and with Ferocious. Whenever you attack with a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card and lose a life. Okay, cool. It's an evasive threat that if you have a big doggy, you get card advantage. Nice. Chief Warg's Company. Well, we have a lot of blank and then blank's company, huh? It's like a cycle. 3-mana, 5/3 with Trample. This can't attack unless you control 2 or more other wolves. But at the beginning of your upkeep, make a wolf. Okay, it's awesome. It's a 3-mana creature that makes a token every turn. Like, well, each of your returns. Doesn't matter. There's free dogs. Yeah, this is great. I like this. I like this. Good dog. Good dog. Good dog maker. It's big. It sits there and helps trigger your Ferocious. Yeah, it dies to having a pine cone flung at it, but like, don't we all? Duskwatch Hunter, a 3-mana 3/1, can't be blocked by tokens. When it enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It can't target itself, so sometimes it'll be a 3-mana 4/2. It's filler. Yeah, it gets you something that's for Ferocious. Oh no, I'm gonna sneeze right in front of this bear. It has Reach, it has Trample, it has Haste, and it's a 5-mana 5/5. What is it? It's fine. At least it has Reach. At least it has Trample. At least it has Haste. It's a bunch of keywords. It's your French vanilla. It's fine. Yeah, holy keywords. Tom, Bert, and William. These are the 3 trolls that are debating their dinner. A 5-mana 5/5. You can pay 1 and sacrifice another creature to draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power and then discard a card. That's pretty nice. And whenever Tom, Bert, and William die, if they were a creature, they actually come back into play as an artifact, because that's them turning to stone when the sun hits them. You think black-green seems strong? I think green seems strong, and I think black has some nice cards as well. Oh yeah, you can't put this into an Eula deck, because it is green and black, sorry. Pfeiffer, Melodic Rider, another one of our dwarves. It's a 6-mana 4/5, and it's storied. When it enters or attacks you, put a counter on target creature. It can target itself. And as long as you have an enduring story, if the ability of a dwarf you control triggers, it triggers an additional time. So if you enter and you already have an enduring story, this will enter and put 2 counters onto creatures, which is great. Like, as far as an uncommon goes, I feel like that's a very fun one. Dane's Company. 2-mana, 2/2, Dwarf Warrior. It has lifelink if you control another dwarf. Dwarf Synergy active. When this enters, you look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal a dwarf or an equipment from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That's nice for, like, just dwarf typal stuff, I guess. Like, we always need more dwarves for dwarf stuff. Yeah. I would say for limited, it's probably not hitting anything. But it's not milling the cards, unlike many of the cards in this set. So I think it's fine. It's Eclipsed Dwarf. It's Eclipsed Dwarf, yeah. Dwalin, Weapon Master. Oh, he's so scrunched. 2 mana, 2/1 first strike. When he enters or attacks, you put a hone counter on each equipment you control. I remember seeing this in previews. And a hone gives +1/+0 to the equipped creatures. So it means that, like, you're essentially just buffing up your equipment, even if they're not equipped to anything. This is also, I think, like, the first striker we've seen in the set. He's, like, 60% shoulders. Yeah, I think this is pretty nice. I like this for not just, like, the equipment archetype, but just as... it's a cool way to buff equipment. I don't know how I feel about playing it in a constructed deck, but I think it could be cool if you're doing that thing in limited. Early game, I feel like in Snowball. Yeah, especially if he, like, gives himself a sword and he's essentially just growing his power every turn. Nori, Teller of Tales. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever Nori attacks, target attacking creature gains first strike until end of turn. Oh, that also gives a little first strike, but only on attack. It's cool that he can buff something other than himself. It's fine. Thorin Oakenshield. We had seen another Thorin before, I think. Yeah, the red one with the, deals damage. 2 mana, 3/2, trample, and storied. As long as you have an enduring story, the artifacts and creatures you control have Ward 1. Okay, that's fine. It protects things. I like protect. It protects itself, too. It's a 2 mana, 3/2. If you're in these colors and you're doing dwarf stuff, it's fine. Ward in red. Ward's in white. The ward is the white part of this card. The trample is the red part. Mirkwood Nurturer. Aw, it's just an elf feeding a squirrel. Yay. 3 mana, 3/2. When it enters, return up to 1 other permanent you control to its owner's hand. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay, so it's a 3 mana, 3/2, or a 4/3 if you return a thing. I guess it's to help enable landfall. You could return a Saga. Oh, that's kind of nice. This feels like curve filler that sometimes has an extra upside. She's stealing the berries from the squirrel. Aw. She's doing her work. Sylvan Reveler. These are just like sexy elves. This feels very regular Magic the Gathering, which is cute. 4 mana, 3/2, Elf Citizen. When it enters, you draw a card, then discard a card. If you discarded a land, actually, you put the land into play. Good for the draw 2 archetype, good for landfall, good for ramping. Also, landfall, whenever a land you control enters, you can pay 3 mana to return this from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty good. It's recurable. It triggers on lands. Not bad. Oh, I flipped it over. It's a menace. It is a bit of a menace, yeah. Thranduil, Sindarin, Liege. Oh my god, this card looks so cool. What do you do? Other than, I guess, fight Garblins. 4 mana, 2/3. Other elves you control get +1/+1. The elf typal stuff, again, I don't love it in this set. I like the dwarf typal. I don't love the elf typal. Oh god. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, get an elf. Ugh. Landfall. Okay, it's really good unlimited. Sylvan Rally. Mill up to 4 cards, put up to 2 land cards from among them into your hand. Yeah, that's fine as like a way to curve into this. Yeah, he's a pretty party elf, I'll tell you that. Thranduil, you are looking good. Also, like, it's a pretty good card for limited. Pretty good uncommon, I feel. And this also, because it gives you a way to just, like, make a ton of elf tokens on an uncommon, it does make the other elf synergy stuff a bit better. Opinion of the Goblin tribal stuff? It's fine. Most of it does not seem good enough to support goblins outside of limited. But it's hard because goblins as an archetype, same with elves as an archetype, have had so many good cards for so long that it's hard to introduce good new cards for it. Thranduil's Company. 4 mana, 3/4. As long as you control another elf, you may play an additional land on each of your turns for more landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, and it gets vigilance. Yeah, that's also good for limited. Yeah, it's also good for limited, because it's buffing things on landfall. I don't know. I think landfall is kind of like a crappy design because it rewards you for doing something you have to do. It's kind of like if you had really good effects that just triggered on drawing a card, and it's like, yeah, I'm drawing cards anyway. I'm playing lands anyway. Oh my god, yes, King. Thranduil the Elven King, a 5 mana 5/6 that gives all activated abilities of all elf cards in your graveyard. And whenever another legendary elf you control enters, you draw 2 and discard. This card is not meant for limited. Is it bad in limited? No, it's just fine. I just wouldn't go out of my way to play it. This is a commander card. And it's a pretty cool commander card. It's pretty, yeah, it's got built-in Cauldron. I'm 100% sure that between every single elf that's ever existed in Sultai colors, there's something stupid you can do. Like, is Devoted Druid an elf or is that a human? Like, there's gotta be something silly you can do. Oh, and now we're on to Colorless. So Colorless is strange in this set because we're going to look at colorless non-artifacts first. These are kind of like, there was like a flitterwing fox or something. It had a cute name. It was like a cute fox beast that was like this before. And they're looking to, I think, branch more into this. These are creatures that are neutral, as in they're just kind of there. They're not associating with each of the colors. They're not Eldrazi, but they are colorless creatures. And a lot of them are kind of fine. Yeah, what the dog doing? The dishes, I guess. 3 mana, 2/2 with Flash and Reach. When this creature enters, you make a tap treasure token. What is it? It's just fine. It's gonna trade into some birds or something and do the dishes. Also, it comes with a treasure. Yeah, it helps fix, which is cool. Hey, Sergeant Salt, thank you for the 13-month resub. You wish your dog was doing the dishes? I wish Scraps could do the dishes.
What's
Honey?
up, chat? Wish my dog did the dishes.
Honey, can you do the dishes for me? Our dishwasher's been broken. Can you do the dishes for me, honey? Oh, she's so little. He doesn't know how. Is he setting the table? Oh, he might be setting the table. Bjorn's dog took bowls and platters and knives and wooden spoons and quickly laid them on the trestle tables. Yeah, he's setting the table. Old Thrush. It's a bird and it's eating a snail. 2 mana, 1/2 flying. When it enters, you gain 2 life. You can reveal a basic land from your deck, put it on top of your deck, shuffle the rest. This is also fixing. It's kind of generic. It's fine. I'm not a big fan of these unless I'm like desperate for fixing. But the fact that it's a 2 mana, 1/2 flyer is pretty nice. Also, it's a May, so cheap flyer, and you can play it in anything. Dishwasher broken, worse than death. Oh, we've never had a working dishwasher. I've never lived in an apartment that had like a dishwasher that was like functional. I break out the gloves and the soap. Troop of Ponies. I like this card. And it's not just because I think it's the cutest card in the entire set, but frickin' look at it. Do you see how cute it is? It is so cute. Oh my goodness. It is a 2 mana, 2/1 horse. You can pay 2, tap and sacrifice it to get 2 basic lands. One of them in hand, one into play tapped. It's like a cultivate. Yeah, you gotta put them out to pasture to get the lands. I think it's pretty nice for limited. It's a bit like that, There's like the artifact heart that you used to be able to use. Yeah, Burnished Heart. Burnished Heart, I think you could use on the turn you played it. This one has like Summoning Sickness affecting the ability, but it's 4 mana overall, which is really nice. And I think like in Colorless, in Ramp, like this is one of the better Ramp cards we've seen, and it's available to anyone. So yeah, I would pick this, not like the highest, but pretty highly. Now we have artifacts. So these are all colorless. You can play them in anything. These are artifacts. Also colorless. A 3 mana legendary equipment. It has flash. And when the black arrow enters, it deals 1 damage to any target. And if it was dealing damage to a dragon, which there's not that many in the set, but there are a few, it destroys it. Because this is the arrow shot into the heart scale of Smaug. The equipped creature also gets +1/+1 and reach. And equips for 1. It does not automatically equip. You have to pay to equip it. How do I feel about it? Unlimited. It's fine. 1 damage to any target, though, like, might be kind of good. I'd sideboard it in if my opponent was playing a dragon, though, because it's funny. Dwarven Magic. When this equipment enters, you attach it to target dwarf you control. Well, hi-ho. It gives +2/+2 and ward 1. That's really good. If you are in red-white dwarves, that is a good statted equipment. You could pay 3 to equip it again, but, like, hopefully that dwarf is living. Giant's Boulder. It's a rock. And when it enters, you scry 2. You can pay 1 and tap it to make 1 mana of any color, say Filter. Or pay 7 and tap it to destroy target permanent. These, like, artifacts that are super expensive destruction are like a last resort, I feel, for like limited removal. Sometimes I find myself running one anyway. You think it might be a limited all-star? The Scry 2 is nice. And again, like, I have played these before. Key to the side door. Getting into that dragon's treasure chamber. You pay 2 and tap to make target creature unblockable this turn. Oh, it's like Manifold Key or whatever. Pay 1, tap, discard legendary card with the same name as a permanent you control to draw 2 cards. Oh, that's funny. Hey, did you end up with 10 of the same limited common? Because we're doing stupid small set stuff. This gives you a way to use it. I actually think that the like unblockable effect on this is really good. And it will kill me and I will forget to pay attention to it. Keyless City, that's the one. Yeah, it's not amazing because it doesn't give you like that, you know, extra piece. But I think at 3 mana, making things unblockable, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't run like 5 of them. I just like, you have 1 of them in the deck. Orcrist Goblin Cleaver. 3 mana. Legendary equipment. It's also a mythic rare. The equipped creature gets +2/+2 and trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, choose a creature type and make a treasure for each creature of that type you control. Nice way to be like, I will use my equipment to ramp. Do I like it in limited? I think it's fine. In limited, it's 6 mana overall, though, to use. Do I like it in constructed? It's kind of in the weird spot where if you're going that wide and then hitting with something, it's just kind of like strange to set up. Yeah, Goblin Cleaver, best used in Goblin typal decks. Sting, Bilbo's Sword. This is very different from the other Sting we got, the one that untapped. 2 mana with Flash. When it enters, you put a Hone counter on Sting for each creature target opponent controls. Attach Sting to up to 1 target creature you control. If your opponent is super wide, you use this to get suddenly a ton more power on a creature. Notably, this does not give First Strike, and if your opponent has no creatures, it does nothing. Is Bilbo left-handed? Is he? I mean, he is in this art. Yeah, I think it's all right. I think that this card is the sort of thing that you can play in limited, and it's all right because it gives you like this permanent buff, but it is situational in multiple ways that I don't love. I feel like oftentimes this card is going to be a 2 mana flash, give +2/+0, and automatically equip. And this is a rare at 2 mana. That exact ability I described, I'm pretty sure is on a bunch of 1 mana red cards. But hey, you know what? Maybe your opponent's playing Scout Swarm, and actually they have 2,000 creatures, and you put this on there and it has +2,000/+0. But that's, again, it's situational. That's kind of why I don't love this card. Aurora's Map. 2 mana legendary artifact. When Throra's Map enters, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle. Pay 2, tap, draw a card, discard a card. Okay, it's like gets you the land of the color you need. That's fine. And it gives you this like loot ability later, which is especially nice if you have payoff for it. A well-worn spatula. And like many food, it helps you gain some life because you lick the food off the spatula. So when it enters, you gain 2 life, and it gives +1/+1, has an equip cost of 1. Short Sword Plus. Honestly, I like this quite a bit. Even if you're not like leaning that much into equipment, if you just have like a flyer you want to buff, I think that Short Sword that gains you 2 life is not bad. Somebody's asking, does something count for 2 in Storied? Each permanent can only count as 1 thing for Storied. And then we have lands. Let's see, what lands do we have? An Elven Passage. Is it like a Fabled Passage? It looks like it's more like a Vista. Pay 1, tap, sacrifice. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle. If you behold an elf, meaning if you control one or reveal one from your hand, you untap the land. I wish it were just a Vista reprint. But I guess if you want more fetch lands for your elves, since they have landfall, it's there. I don't love this, though. Like, I prefer Fabled Passage, I think. If I'm paying life to fetch, I want my lands coming in untapped. Felfbold Passage. Do you behold before or after searching? I believe after searching, after you've actually put it into play, but it's all part of the same trigger. Or, sorry, it would be 2 separate triggers. Yeah, because it's if you do untap that land. Maybe they'll slowly make one for each major creature type. I don't know. I feel like elves with the lands make sense. Elven King's Halls. This is a land. By the way, I think that this will go into a lot of people's elf decks as just a... Ooh, it's another Prismatic Vista. That's great for landfall decks. If you're running, like, maybe an Elf Azir commander. Elven King's Hall. This is part of the cycle of 2-color lands in this set. And you're going to notice that they follow the same 2-color themes we had before, which is just 5 of them. We have Elven King's Halls. You sacrifice a land to put counters on an elf. Goblin Town. Sacrifice the land, put counters on a goblin or orc. Hobbit Hole. This is a Evolving Wilds. Sacrifice the land, get a basic, put it onto battlefield tap. But this also has Halfling Cycling 4. If you have a Hobbit in your deck you desperately want to search for and you don't want to play this as a land, you can pay 4 mana and discard this to get it into your hand. Very cute. There's not that many Hobbits in the set. Iron Hills. It's the same thing as before, but for dwarves. Can you guess which one this one is? It's humans. Yes, for humans you control. Then we have the Lonely Mountain. This is another rare from this set. It is, in fact, a mountain. That means it taps for red. It enters tapped unless you control an equipment, and if you pay 5 and tap it, you can make a dwarf. The ability costs less for each equipment you control, and it's sorcery speed, but that's still a pretty nice mana sink. I think that this card is okay and limited, and I like the idea of playing this in a dwarf typal deck. Mirkwood. Now this is the only one that's kind of weird, because you might have noticed a green-black didn't have like one creature type. We've got old fat spiders, wargs, And Bjorn and his bears. So it's bears, spiders, or wolves. Wild. And those are all of the cards in the draftable Hobbit set. That's right, this set is teeny tiny. Because it was definitely supposed to be an Aftermath set, and they fleshed it out with a bunch of, like, bears and whatever else. And it turned into this. It is a Hobbit-size set appropriate for a Hobbit. Which means I'm not sure how much replayability it will have. But I think that this set looks like it'll be a good introductory set. If you have a friend who's like, I'm thinking about trying Magic the Gathering, this feels like a nice set to, like, put down in front of them and be like, all right, we're going to play with some Hobbit stuff. Which is why it makes me kind of sad that there are a couple very chase cards in this set that make it expensive. It's also Universes Beyond, so it's a bit more expensive. I want to pick up a fat pack of this set, and I'm hoping prices equalize a bit over time and go down to MSRP. But right now, this is pre-selling for above MSRP, which is tough. I think it's because there's a lot of, let's say, very high-value reprints on the bonus sheet. Well, y'all, I hope you enjoyed the set review. I hope you're hyped for some Hobbits. This is such a teeny tiny set with honestly a huge bonus sheet. And it's not even a bonus sheet. These are not draftable. There are 40 cards that are available as box toppers. And I wish they were just a bonus sheet. Like, some of these are kind of oppressive cards in Limited. Some of them don't even make sense in Limited. It doesn't matter. That happens with a lot of bonus sheets. It's 40 cards. When the set itself is only 193. And that is including something we didn't really look over. There's some really pretty basic lands, if I remember right, in this set. Yeah, look at these. Those are gorgeous. These are also really nice. But look at these. The Journey basic lands. These are precious as heck. Super precious. Happy to see them. Thanks for watching. Hope you're ready for some Hobbitses. Loads of them.